Hello, everybody. Back on Patriotic Angels, finally. So, I'm going to read the Patriotic Almanac to August 28th. I've been wanting to read this one. It's called I Have a Dream. So, I'm trying to get my microphone situated. Sorry. It's been a pain in the butt today. It says on August 28, 1963, more than 200,000 people, black and white, gathered at the nation's capital to urge Congress to pass President John F. Kennedy's Civil Rights Bill, which prohibited racial discrimination in public places, employment, and education. Hey, Susan. The day-long celebration of speeches, songs, and prayers climaxed with an address by Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., who spoke from the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia that the sons of our former slaves and the sons of the former slave owners will be able to sit together at a table of brotherhood. I have a dream that 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but the content of their character. I have a dream today that so let the freedom ring, the Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee, from freedom ring every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring. Where this happens, when they allow freedom to ring in every village, in every hamlet, from every state, in every city, we'll be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men, white men, Jews, Gentiles, Protestants, and Catholics, will all be able to join hands and sing the songs of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last. Rarely can it be said of speeches changing things, but King's I Have a Dream speech, one of the greatest of the nation's history, helped secure passage of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. The speech helped change millions of hearts and minds. It changed things still, and it changes things still. In history, 1609, English explorer Henry Hudson discovers Delaware Bay. In 1845, Scientific American magazine publishes its first issue. In 1922, the first radio commercial airs on WEAF in New York City with a 10-minute and by the Queensboro Realty Company, for which it paid $100. Hey, Willie. Hey. I'm drop the link. Yay, I'm back on my Patriotic Angels. So, how you doing, Willie? I was reading the I Have a Dream speech from one of the greatest reverends we've ever had, Martin Luther King. So, why, darling? Why are you depressed? I got something today. Look at that is. Hello.
Is it a shofar?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Who sent you that?
I did.
Oh, you did.
I'm practicing, and I suck at it.
Okay, come on, let's hear it.
Oh, Gitmo hates it.
Uh-oh, you're frozen.
he's making me laugh.
Praise God. Just keep on praising him.
He hates it.
Yeah. Oh, he don't like it. What's the matter, Gitmo?
Cats hate it. He hates it. They all hate it.
Oh, it's so funny.
It's a call to God.
Uh-huh. God bless you. God loves you anyway, Bear. That's so funny. Where'd you get it at?
Amazon. Says, we are pleased to see you are among our amazing customers. The product you purchase from us is carefully packaged and tested before leaving the warehouse. If you still have a problem with the product you purchased from us, the product is not your complete satisfaction, we urge you to contact us. Blah, 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 blah. It's the Holy Voice.
Mandy Grace has her shofar. She takes with her all the time.
Yeah.
Will Silver Girl, I know Liberty Warrior's on.
Yeah, I gotta text her and let her know I'm on. So.
Thank you,
It came
Mom.
with a nice little bag, carrying bag.
Oh, that's nice. Got to protect it.
Yeah, so it goes in here.
Look at Gitmore. Oh, God, she's putting it away.
I mean, it's a suede bag. It's nice.
That's
It's
nice.
got the Holy Voice on it. I guess I should practice outside. It's my trumpet. It's my trumpet. Let the trumpets reveille. So,
Tabitha says she sent you something in Facebook.
okay, I will check it in just a second.
How's your baby?
I'm getting my phone so I can text Silver Girl, let her know I'm live up on Patriotic Angels.
How's your bed there?
It's perfecto. I slept like a baby. I didn't want to get out of bed this morning.
And a new pillow.
I didn't want to get out of bed this morning. So, oh, hey, get off my shofar. Down. Yep. Exactly. The shofar is calling to God and his people. We need it. So, here's Tabitha. We're going to make a GoFundMe because we're just denied help with the infrastructure. We can, once it gets up running, can you please share it with, yeah. I'll get to Hawk. I haven't talked to 101, but I can get it through, I can send it to, Lake Ferry. So she can get it to Hawk. Get it to 101. So, yeah, that's no problem. Yeah, this is a ram's horn. So, yeah. There's a video of a guy showing how to use it. That's how I learned how to. It's like you're doing an elephant. That kind of thing.
It's one of those things you don't want to share with somebody, that's for sure. Mm-hmm.
Shofar is your shofar.
Uh-oh. Is he messing with your speaker?
Did it go out?
I can barely hear you.
It's because Gitmo's like, here, go lay down. Get. I'm going to pull out the shofar and blow it. Go lay down in your bed. Go. He's just upset because his daddy's not home.
He's taking out on you.
Don't they all? A trumpet mouthpiece will help you practice.
Did you hear that thing I sent you to at JP one? It's kind of old, but I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I watched it yesterday. It was funny. Yeah.
What was it? COVID hotline or?
Yeah, the COVID hotline.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, apparently they're pushing that narrative again because all these people are coming in now and they're not getting shot. They're dying of COVID. So.
Please.
Yeah. I just, I don't even respond. I just take their order.
Oh, did you? I don't know if you played it some yesterday before I came on or not, but did you see where Jen Psaki, at her speech yesterday, in her press conference yesterday, she said the word pandemic?
No, I don't listen to her. She gives me a headache.
I didn't either, but Dave was showing it. He goes, "Did you hear what I heard?"
Yeah. So, but I'm waiting on Silver Girl. So,
What am not chopped liver. Just
No.
kidding. I'm just
I
teasing.
need to play there's one from the Patriot Street Fighter. So I'm waiting on her to come up so I can play it. I
Is
would
that
have
the
been
one
up
that
here
went with,
earlier if I had to eat. So
is that the one with negative 58?
58. Did he change his number?
48.
John F. Kennedy Jr.?
Yeah, junior. No, he ain't a junior no more.
Well, I think he is because his dad is still alive.
No, he died. They did say he died.
Maybe.
He was 103.
Maybe. Maybe he is. Maybe he isn't.
Who knows anymore?
Did I say you can come up here? No, I didn't. Go lay down. I'll blow my trumpet.
Oh, Mama got on me.
Blow my trumpet. Go let it. Go.
Man, I had
Go lay down.
I had to order a water filter from my refrigerator today. I'm tired of paying for bottled water. It's getting too expensive. Oh,
What?
Susan said, I think negative might be Patrick.
Who's Patrick?
Bouvier. Supposedly the son that died before him, Patrick Bouvier Kennedy. Bavard, whatever.
Bouvier?
Yeah.
So John F. Kennedy had a son before John?
Yeah, the one that was supposed to have been miscarried. And a daughter.
Was it? I thought that Patrick was his brother.
Yeah, John's brother. Yes.
No, not John, but John's.
No, It's Patrick would have been Jackie and Jack's son.
Oh.
Supposedly, this is what someone said today.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was heard today anyway that okay. Somebody was a surrogate.
Where is Silver Girl?
Somebody was a surrogate for John and Carolyn, and that child was and that child was and that child was McKaylin.
Get down. Everybody, down. Thank you. Go lay down. I think it's pretty. The actual horn.
Oh, tummy hurts.
The ram's horn.
Oh, that's beautiful.
They had one that was like that long. I mean, like, it was like curly and stuff, but I didn't have $100 for that. Silver Girl. There she is. Hello. I'm waiting on you.
Hey, Silver Girl. She didn't want to talk to me. She's like, wait for Silver Girl. I'm waiting for Silver Girl.
I got a shafar.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
Hey, watch play it. Watch Gitmo.
I better watch mine.
Oh, he's getting used to it. Gizmo was going crazy.
It's hard to get used to. You have to blow your mouth like an elephant.
Ace is,
Oh.
Ace is looking all over the place. Trying
See, I'm getting better. Getting better.
yes, you are. That's even better than when I got on.
So, I'm calling God. Ah,
Good. We need to.
yeah. This is a call to God's warriors right here.
Right there.
Hello.
Where did you get that?
Walmart. I mean, Amazon.
Oh.
Walmart, right?
Oh, no, not that one. It's Holy Voice.
Oh. That'd be a good thing to use to train your dog to come on. Nobody else would ever do. No other dog would come to it. Although no, that would not be good for me.
No.
I might end up with a bear or a moose or a ram or something out here that would come
Get a
call.
moose. Yeah, you could get a moose.
Could get a moose without any question. Probably get a static too.
Mm.
Yeah, I was gonna play your Patriot Street Fighter that you wanted to.
I don't think we should play the whole thing because it's so long. I think we need to divide it up.
Yeah, let's see.
Are you talking about the one with negative 48 on and all them?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a long one. Whew.
You listen to that?
Yeah. Well,
did.
Hawk played it last night.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, one night I don't even remember night and day anymore.
It's
I listened to parts of it on Hawk last night, and then I can't, and went to bed. Then I got up this morning and started listening over again.
What was it called? The Jesus Strand. It was about the Jesus Strand.
Yeah, and I've never seen so many comments on a video as on the one that I had, which
There's no sound.
yeah, it's got sound.
Not on my end. Hmm.
I
You
mean,
know,
I literally turned it off.
Susan said in the chat, she said that she thought that he was Patrick Bouvier Kennedy.
Who was?
Number
A negative 48.
negative 48.
I don't think so because of the way that they were talking about him, and negative 48 does not have the language nor the accent that he should have.
Rumble. Maybe on Rumble.
So what are you saying? Who has?
Negative 48 doesn't have the language, the college professor language. He doesn't speak as someone who lives in that kind of environment.
Is Patrick supposed to be a teacher?
A professor, yeah.
Professor?
Here.
And he also has no discernible.
Hello, Brenda.
Hi,
Hey,
Brenda.
Brenda.
Hey,
How are you?
Work today.
I'm good.
oh, I had to go to Wally World today too. Thought
So
about
I worked.
How was work today?
Same shit, different day.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of people because I posted on my Facebook that I saw. No,
gotta
I thought
check
about
in.
it. I saw it and I applied, and nobody could figure what the frig that was. Right?
Mhm.
I got a Shafir.
Get
What is
Mom.
that called?
A Shafir?
A
A
sofa.
sapphire?
Yeah.
They call us a sofa.
Safir, whatever. It's a horn that calls to God.
Gitmo, how do you like your bed, Gitmo?
Well, it didn't bother my dog.
Ace kept looking for it.
I had you on a little bit earlier, but I had to do a job with my daughter, but I had the headphones on, so I couldn't hear the horn.
Yeah.
So my daughter says,
So
we're
far.
going to have to rewind that in the morning after I get up, after you're done work, and we're going to have to see if the dog reacts. Well, the dog's laying right here underneath my chair. Never said a thing.
Amanda Grace dog go crazy too. But she
Hey,
did.
Gitmo, Gitmo, it's okay, Gitmo. Mama just went bananas. She'll be back. Now, oh, look, he's gonna go investigate. Ed was just looking around and he turned to look towards the door, and then he looked back in this direction because that's where the speakers are. He finally decided it was coming from over here, but he had his eyebrows way up. He's just too old to move.
That's one a little bit like that Navy SEAL guy, yeah, with the curl.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Those
that's
golden
I like
tickets full of lead.
Gitmo, Gitmo, Gitmo.
Why
Hey,
would
Gitmo. Oh,
What?
hi, Gitmo.
why would they hide Patrick's death and their daughter and the daughter?
Mm.
Because they
We've
knew what.
also heard Amy Comey Barrett is the daughter of Mr. Potato Head, who was supposedly died in that car wreck that he had arranged to have him murdered. Yes, Junior was an attorney. Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
It
a.
took him 3 times to pass the bar, but he did it. What was you saying, Sue?
I know some people have never passed the bar.
You said it's hard as heck. I got it. I got it.
They've never passed the bar. They've always gone in. Right.
I had a friend who gave me a copy of an old bar test, and I was probably 40 and had already been to court 4 or 5 times for Social Security, and had won every one that I was named in. And so the assistant AG gave me a copy of an old bar test. He said, "I want you to take this, and if you get interested in the questions on this thing, you're in the wrong business."
What you working on there, Dorinda?
I'm kind of working on another painting like this because I have some paint left over.
Ow, Ed. That's Mama's
Ooh, I
head.
like that one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a heart. Look at the clouds. They're in the shape of a heart.
I know, I love that. I do. You should show her your purple one you did last night with the moon. That's pretty.
Yeah, I'm gonna just grab it to show Silver.
They would go great on your wall.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I love that.
That is gorgeous.
Yeah, she's just a painting fool. Painting. I get to babysit tomorrow.
You're good, Dorinda.
That's right. This one's supposed to have the Northern Lights with a guy sitting on his car watching them.
Oh, she's going to paint people. When it gets
Yeah, we'll
to
see
people,
how that turns out.
I do stick people.
I kind of do too.
Yeah. Let's watch a little bit of Patriot Street Fighter. I found them on.
Can Silver Grace answer question? Let Silver answer the question she was saying.
What?
Why did they hide Patrick's death?
Oh, I think that it's one of those things where they knew that there was going to be issues coming up, and they wanted to save some of them's life. I think that's why I think. Because they even went out to Saudi Arabia. And remember Trump, Mr. T, saying that Saudi Arabia was more important than you realized?
Yeah.
These kids, a lot of these kids were raised in Saudi Arabia. In Argentina, or wherever the other one was. Armenia? Whatever.
Well, Armenia is.
Oh, Billy,
Oh,
I banned on my other channels because they gave me a strike for this one. Because I prayed, I got a strike. So
You got the strike for praying.
yeah. Well, they said it was misinformation. So
Oh,
Ian was just.
even though we didn't show anything that was to do with what they said I did,
right.
I think that was the time when they were striking everybody for praying. So
Well, you
Tabitha,
know what? Well, you know what? Yesterday, was it today? That a Liberty Warrior had 2 hours of prayer.
it was yesterday, and then 2 days before that, and they didn't get him yet.
yeah,
Yet.
I can't stop God. There we go. There you go.
Go all, so I'm go all, so it is big. Go all, so I'm only as good as the words come out of people's mouths, so I can code it. And Jerry played up on his video. Jesus Christ is extraordinary, 351. And Prime Minister.
Bad audio.
So then I just put negative 48 is extraordinary, which came to 295, which is how 90% of the world writes JFK's birthday. 295 instead of 529. So in the video we broke down everything. Well, not quite. We stopped a little short, but I broke down everything they were talking about. So I watched Jerry Foley's video, and I just typed in a bunch of stuff they were saying, the keywords, and broke it all down. And then when we talked to Prime, I played it back for him. Said, "This is what you guys are saying. You just didn't know it in code." It just blew him away. So it was a really fun video. It was really fun. So he'll release that. I don't know, today or tomorrow. I don't know. But he wanted to know when are we going to do this again? And then Hammer Girl, Hammer Girl 104, JFK JR Alive 104, JFK is Alive 104. Hammer Girl and Prime are going to do a rap video. Hammer Girl is going to produce and help co-write it with him.
That's
with
awesome.
gematria and numbers. So that's going to be cool.
Yeah, we thought it would be just a fabulous way to reach a younger demographic, especially through music. So I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I think Lisa's excited. I should say Hammer Girl.
So is it going to be like rap via gematria?
Yeah, it'll be some of the stuff he says with numbers, and then what those numbers mean, and it has a flow. You know, it kind of has a flow to it on its own. So he's gonna do his thing, throw his style to it, and he'll come up with words that he wants, and we'll code them out and see what they say, and then they'll just produce a rap video, you know. And then he said he was going to come over to Negative 48 one day, and we were going to have a live session. Everybody on our channel, the Negative 48 crew was going to throw numbers and words and stuff and produce a song for him. So we're gonna write a song on Negative 48 chat with Prime Minister here pretty soon.
Can't wait. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
That sounds something like Tab.
Yay.
Oh, he was already. I mean, you should have seen the video. I mean, his face was totally blown away the whole time. That's what Lisa Marie said. I couldn't even code anything what you guys were talking about because I just kept looking at Prime's face. He was just totally blown away. He was animated.
Yeah.
I wish I would have seen that. I can just picture him flipping out. I can
Well, you can see it. It's going to be his next video.
He's asked me today or yesterday. I did a show with him. He's just like, "So what do you think about this Negative 48? You know?" And wanted to know. And I was like, "You'll see."
Yeah, it's like just go open that can of whoop ass and stand back.
Yeah. You see that can of whoop ass I have? That's funny.
Well, that's what we would go when we'd go to those countries before Trump was our president. We didn't have any business over there. We'd go open a can of democracy on their ass. That's what it was. And it's all bullshit. All we did was go around and blow the shit out of everything, so they'd be forced to open a central bank. Everywhere we went, they didn't have a central bank. When we left, they had one. They just to help build the. Everybody can be, can give me crap about numbers and names and words, but you can't give me crap about what I know. Okay, what I know is who these bankers are and what they've done. And that's, the negative name was a negative at first because everybody was positive. Everybody wanted to, go into the light, and they see this negative and they didn't like it. So when I started, instead of teaching gematria straight out of the gate, I just dropped, the 40,000 foot view on them, kind of like you did with that video that blew up, when you did that video and Lynn Wood posted it and it blew up on you. So I just would drop the 40,000 foot view on everybody we had a 38-hour phone call, and the day before, if you can call that a day, we did 2 little calls. We just go, okay, we're going from here to here. Then we went from there over to my channel, and that was 30 hours. And so we just did 68 hours, out of the gate, and did a whole lot more and dropped a lot of bombs. Negative 48 drops bombs, 218. Benghazi isn't going away, 218.
And I think that's why this story was so important, right, Michael? I mean, it opens the door to better understanding Benghazi and the connection, because of the connection to Jesus, and why that for so many years has been a target. And I know you and I have talked about, Obama's attempts to destroy it, Hillary's attempts to destroy it. And, it just makes sense now that we can connect the dots and better understand why it's been such a target.
By the way, that's the first time I've said that. Nobody's ever heard me say that before. Benghazi isn't going away, 218. Guardians of the Galaxy, 218. John F. Kennedy Jr., 218. Michael Brian Prosman, 218. Health of Hammer Girl, 218.
Hang on a minute.
218. Operation Summer.
Stop it a minute. Something's weird. I never saw those people live on my video. Ever. I just pulled it up again, and I don't see them in live anywhere either. At 7 minutes, it goes to goes from Scott to this picture, and it's just got let me see, get back to you. It's got the 3 on the bottom and the 1 on the top right picture. Scott and the other lady are not in my video. I do not know what's going on, and I do not remember any of this discussion.
I thought that was different.
Yeah, it's different.
Well, I said the same date.
Is it labeled Jesus Strand?
It's what?
The Jesus Strand is the very end of it. Mine is labeled Patriot Street Fighter -48 and the Apostles for the big reveal, the Jesus Strand.
Right.
Pulled it up.
I don't see anything to close it out. I'm gonna lose it.
I'll put it in.
Yeah, it says Strand. It's the exact same one.
This one is not the one I heard.
This is the 27th. It said Patriot Street Fighter Pose Jesus Strand discussion with -48 and Chris.
And even Vicky's saying she didn't hear this either. Something is weird.
The one I saw, no, they never show Scott.
Yeah.
Maybe he goes away halfway through. Did you watch the whole thing?
I watched the whole thing. Stop it, Linda. I watched the whole thing, but I was doing something. But I did not hear what they're talking about now.
Yeah.
There's the link that I have.
I know.
This is weird. This is really weird. I mean, I just finished watching this maybe an hour ago when I emailed you. I never heard this conversation. What are you on at the bottom? What is the number at the bottom? How far? Now, how
What-
many,
Hold on.
yeah, how much?
It won't tell me.
This is weird.
812.
You see, Scott, what did you say?
812.
812. Okay, hang on. 816. Let me let it run.
Is it this one?
I've got his opening red comment, 812.
Let's try this one then.
When a long trip, and it is the episode of amazing because I want to be focused.
That's the thing I saw. That's it.
Before we begin, we'd like to give you a brief introduction of what gematria is
Sound is
with
horrible.
negative 48.
Everybody mute.
Hello, everybody. Gematria is something that most of us didn't know anything about. Most of us still don't know anything about. And it's a way to send a message using different ciphers to somebody in code. And so, you know, we are at war. This is a war for your mind, World War III. And gematria, A is 1, Z is 26. Just the real simple, you know, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Trump and the Q board gave it to us on drop 40. So you can go look at drop 40 on the Q board, and it said 4, 10, 20. And underneath it, it said A, B, C, D,
How about we do this? Hold on. Let me mute. Do it the way that hold on. Share audio. There we go.
E dot. So we can clearly see that 4, 10, 20. 4 is D. So 4 represents D. That means 1 is A, 2 is B, 3 is C, 4 is D. You know, E is 5. So to get to 10, back in the day, we were rookies and we were counting on our fingers. And we realized that 10 was J. And then we would do some more counting because that's what the dot. You have to continue on, you know, with the alphabet. And so we would count to 20 and we realized that 20 was T. 4, 10, 20 was DJT, Donald J. Trump. And so, you know, when you add up all the numbers, I mean, Z is obviously 26, Y is 25. I mean, that's 51 right there. And A through X equal 300. So A through Z is 351. God communicates through numbers 351, meaning G-O-D. G is 7, O is 15, D is 4, C is 3. You just keep adding up all the letters in God communicates through numbers, and you get 351. And A through Z is 351. The 26 holy letters, 351. God's prophecy is the English alphabet, 351. God coded every English alphabet letter, 351. Jesus Christ is the English alphabet, 351. English is 26 letters, 351. The manifestation of Jesus Christ, 351. You know, you get the, you know, you get what I'm saying. You know, the terms of simple English gematria, 351. That's what this is. We're just using simple English gematria. Now, simple is A is 1, Z is 26. English is a different one, but this is simple English gematria. So I know it's a little confusing. So as long as your A is 1, Z is 26, you're going to use the cipher that Q gave us so that you can figure out the communications and the comms they're giving. So throughout this story, someone's going to say a phrase or a word like President 110. Just P is 16, R is 18, you know, E is 5, S is 19. You just add up the letters in the word and you get a number. So when you hear a phrase and a number, you're going to realize that they're related. You know, President 110, American Badass 110. Our president's American Badass. So they're going to be related. These numbers are going to be related. And they're both going to, you know, obviously be related because they're going to share the same number. So with that being said, kingdom of Satan destroyed by a word, 351. We're supposed to follow the truth. The truth is his word. So here we go. Take it away.
All right. Thank you, Michael. So back to the Jesus strand. Now, our Bibles of today basically have about 66 books, but in actuality, there are about 777 books of the Bible. Some even say 888 books if we include the Book of Giants. Now, we know that the Vatican has 50 miles of tunnels beneath the building that contains books that many of us haven't seen, but we are now are privy to that information. Now, the books we have today are not the original books. They have been edited. And let me tell you a little bit about the older Bibles that we're aware of. There is the Codex Sinaiticus from 350 AD, which is the oldest available inclusive Bible. The Codex Vaticanus from 300 to 305 AD, written in Greek, which was found near Alexandria, Egypt, but it's not the oldest. Then there's the Dead Sea Scrolls from 250 BC to 70 AD, which are extremely fragmented and incomplete. And older still are the Greek translations of the Hebrew and Aramaic scriptures, Aramaic being the language of Jesus Christ, called the Septuagint, which is considered even older, from about 250 AD. There's the Ethiopian Garima Gospels, which is the world's earliest illustrated Christian book from the 5th century. And then there are the Bibles from the Coptics, the Egyptian Coptics, and the Orthodox religions like the Armenians, the Lebanese, the Greek, and the Russian Orthodox. And all of these lead us to our edited Bibles of today. I'd like to introduce Bryce, who's going to give us a deep dive, a biblical and historical deep dive into the ancient texts, the scriptures, the books that have been found and are revealing new truths about Jesus Christ.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having me here today. And I like to say that these missing books found me. I didn't find them. And they have really opened up my eyes to the fact that we have been misled in a lot of ways and misled intentionally. And yes, I know that's hard for a lot of practicing Christians to understand that our Bible has been edited. It has been edited. It has been changed. But that does not change God. It does not change the light. And in Genesis 1:3, it says, "Let there be light." And for, at least for me, growing up in a Presbyterian Southern church, I always thought that just meant God said, "Let there be light so people can see the sun." Well, what I've learned in my studies is that the original word light, that the original people reading these scriptures would have understood, meant divine spark. And this divine spark is really apparent in some of these missing gospels, like the Apocryphon of John. The value of that divine spark, that anointment that God gave each of us. That is something that they would like to take away, in my opinion. So when Jesus was born, we'll get into where he possibly might have been born later on in the show, but he had people following him around. Now we know that we're told he had 12 apostles. Well, what I have found in my studies is that he had more than 12 apostles. And in fact, he had many women apostles as well, women who were anointed by him to continue teaching. Now, why are we told there are 12 apostles? Well, something I have just found is that 12 plus 1 is 13. 13 is the number of a coven. Why is this important? Well, this goes back to Constantine the Great, who created the Council of Nicaea. In order to understand Constantine, we have to look at what was happening after Jesus's death. After Jesus died, all of his disciples, his students, had to scatter. from where they were living. This was, as most of us can understand, living in our day today. If we kind of mirror it with what they were going through, this was revolutionary, what Jesus was teaching, this whole concept. They had to get out of town. Jesus had been executed, and they all were very much in some trouble. And they all died very, very horrific deaths, most of them, for their convictions. Well, this is how a lot of these works started to move across the continent. And we know that for the New Testament at least, we have the 4 canonized Gospels, which are Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And then we have a bunch of letters that were written by Paul. Well, obviously, there are way more Gospels out there than what we were allowed to read. And I have gone through some of the Gospels that we have, and it's pretty eye-opening as to what the real teachings of Jesus was and the information in these Gospels. And yes, the Vatican has not released any of these Gospels to us. Everything we've found, or we have, has been found by people just like us from the early Christian days that hid these books, because at some point after the Council of Nicaea, there were severe punishments for owning these books, like death, imprisonment, slavery. So it doesn't sound like something Jesus would have taught, right? So when we have Constantine coming along, Constantine was born in 272 AD. At this point, the Roman Empire had been divided up into 4 different sections, almost like a republic, like what the United States is supposed to be. And with each 4 sections, there was a governor. Constantine's father was the governor of the western side of Europe, and he passed away in 306 AD. At this point, Constantine became the ruler of the western side of this empire. Constantine decided that he didn't want to just rule the western side of this empire. He wanted to rule the whole empire, almost like what we would call today a new world order. And so at this point, he's up in Great Britain, where we call Great Britain today, near Hadrian's Wall. That is a wall that marked the outermost points of the Roman Empire. This is where he started his crusades to become the untouchable emperor that he eventually would become. So Constantine practiced a religion called Mithraism. And a lot of what we see with Mithraism from the past is what you might recognize in our Christian churches today. Constantine never intended on taking the teachings of Jesus, in my opinion, from my research. Instead, what he did was manipulate all of the soldiers in the area to fight for him. Now, why was this? A lot of these soldiers were peasantry class, and they had accepted this newfound faith. Now, if we look at Hadrian's Wall today, you can see almost like ancient graffiti, where a lot of the soldiers had put crosses on the wall, symbolizing their new faith. Now, if all the Christians, thinking back to Sunday school or vacation Bible school when you were a kid, they taught us that at one point the Christian faith was illegal. They were feeding Christians to the lions in the Colosseum for sport. So being a Christian in this day and age was dangerous. So the Mithraic cult that Constantine was a part of was a religion to the sun god Mithra. The initiates of this religion called themselves, and I'm not even going to attempt to say the word, but basically meant united by handshakes. They had secret handshakes. Sounds familiar. They met in secret in underground temples. Sounds familiar, right? And this was a religion that was inclusive to the upper class of the Roman army. So the elites, basically. So you can also find at Hadrian's Wall ruins of old Mithraic temples. Well, in order for Constantine to have an army to help him on his quest, he had to then accept these Christians so that they would fight for him. Now, the biggest obstacle in Constantine's way was a man named Maxentius, and he was the governor of the landmass right beside the western side of Europe, which included Rome, Italy. Now, the history books will tell you that Maxentius was a tyrant, but archaeologists have found that that is not true. In fact, everything we've been taught about Constantine as being this great and holy ruler that became a Christian can actually be flipped and put on Maxentius. Maxentius, in reality, was the great ruler who had already started accepting this new Christian faith, and he did not want Constantine taking over the empire. So there was a big battle at a bridge where Constantine claimed that he had seen a vision of the cross and had had a conversation with Jesus. Now, if you go to the Vatican City, I've been to the Vatican myself, there are frescoes everywhere by Raphael where he's drawn this image of Constantine having this revelation where he all of a sudden accepts Jesus and becomes a Christian. Well, we can call this propaganda or fake news. This never happened. All right, he was a die-hard Mithraic practitioner. When he finally did defeat Maxentius drowned in the Tiber River and he cut his head off and paraded his head all through town. Now, in Rome, Italy, there is an arch called the Arch of Constantine, where Constantine basically tells on himself, because if you get close to the arch that tells the story of him taking over the Roman Empire, there's no mention of God or Jesus. In fact, it's all pagan gods and satanic gods. All right, so once Constantine has his new world order, as they say, he starts to merge the Christian faith that he's manipulated to conquer into the Mithraic faith. In fact, he recreates Jesus. He recreates the image of Jesus. For example, Mithra's birthday, along with a lot of other old gods, sun gods, was December 25th. This is also the Saturnalian festival, which I've covered on my channel. This was a festival to Saturnalia. There was human sacrifice involved. December 25th was during this time, the 12 days of Saturnalian, if that sounds familiar. And so now we've now substituted Mithra's birthday for now Jesus's birthday. Mithra, being the sun god, always had a halo around him. Sounds familiar, right? We see halos to represent the sun, the sun. Mithra also slays a bull, which is the shedding of the bull's blood to save the world. So the shedding of the blood to save the world. In fact, in some of the temples, it is written, "You have saved us through the shedding of the eternal blood." In these different ceremonies in these Mithra temples, they would eat a sacred meal of sacrifice of bread and wine, just like our communion. Mithra was also resurrected. So I hope people can start to see that there is a convergence. This does not mean that the story of Jesus isn't real or that God isn't real. It just means that they have intentionally lied to us to try to distort our light from the truth. Now, if today, especially in older churches in the Roman Empire, especially in Italy, you can find Mithra temples still in the basement of these Christian churches. They're still there, where the masses would be having their service upstairs while the elite would be doing whatever they were doing down in the basement below. Again, that sounds really familiar with what we've learned so far in this Great Awakening. Now, Eusebius was Constantine's biographer. He was also kind of like his assistant. And the first written accounts of Constantine's battle at the Milvian Bridge, there again was no mention of Constantine having this great awakening where he saw a vision of Jesus. Nothing. That didn't come until years later. In fact, like 13 years later, at 325 AD, which is when we had the Council of Nicaea. He decided to then have Eusebius rewrite history that he had had some vision, like he was a prophet. Now, this will grow because by the end of Constantine's life, he was no longer a prophet, but wanted people to believe he was the second coming of Jesus. Now, we know that after Jesus left the first time, everybody thought he was coming back real soon. So this would have possibly been alluring, except a lot of the Christians knew that this wasn't right. Some of the things that he changed in the Bible was Jesus' birth story. In a lot of the missing Gospels, it says that Jesus was born of Joseph and Mary. Again, a lot of the satanic gods, the pagan gods, were a joint of human and a god. They were like Dionysus, like these gods. Constantine switched that story. Again, the birthday, all that good stuff that we were taught was real, wasn't really a part of the original Christian faith. And at the Council of Nicaea, Constantine decided he was going to be the first fact checker of the Bible. He banned basically most of the books. Most of them were banned, and he edited the Bible that we had today. Now, the bishops couldn't say a whole lot because he was Constantine. If they had disagreed with him, he would have either had them executed or had them imprisoned or cut off any financial aid or supply. So once this was all established and the dogma was established, they put out decrees that people had to get rid of these books that were not approved by Constantine, the prophet Constantine. And this is where we see a lot of these books, like the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Mary, the Dead Sea Scrolls, were buried, some of them in tombs. Some of them were found with literally dead bodies in hiding. These were people that knew what was happening wasn't right. And so they hid the information, hoping that someday we would find them, and we did find them. Now, Constantine moved the capital of the Roman Empire to Byzantium, which then became Constantinople because he named it after himself. And he built a church called the Church of the Holy Apostles. Now, when he died, he had 12 coffins buried around him. Again, this was supposed to represent the designated 12 apostles, again, creating the number 13 to create a coven. And so when we start to get into like the bloodline of Jesus and the light that we all have within us, I hope that people can start to see through the studying of the missing text and the history of what happened, where we were deceived and how we've been deceived. So I hope that's a good starting point for going through these missing books. I do recommend people looking up the Gospel of the Holy 12, which its original name was the Gospel of the Nazarenes, which tells the full complete story of the Gospels, and the Book of Q, which apparently was one of the original Gospels as well, ironically or not ironically.
Thank you, Bryce. So from the information we just learned from Bryce, we know now that there are some missing books, quite a few, and one of them being the Book of Mary Magdalene. Now, I was raised Catholic, and I was taught that Mary Magdalene was a prostitute. That is what we thought. But in actuality, Mary Magdalene was an apostle of Christ. She was a friend, she was a lover, and she was a wife. Now, you're probably asking yourself, why would the role of Mary Magdalene and also of other women in the church be diminished? And it was because the feminine role was diminished by this patriarchal society we know as the Roman Catholic Church, because it was male dominated to maintain wealth and power within the empire. Now, if we look at Da Vinci's painting, The Last Supper, you will see that when you invert that painting, you can see Jesus actually sitting next to Mary Magdalene, who we thought maybe it was Thomas or John, but it's actually Mary Magdalene. And in that inverted position, you see that they are holding a child. They're holding the Holy Grail child. So, as I said prior, Jesus and Mary did marry, and they did have children. And after the crucifixion, Mary fled, and she fled to the south of France. And there she started a very special order called the Order of the Blue Rose. I'm going to read an excerpt from www.essene.org to give you a little bit of an idea of the Order of the Blue Rose. The Order of the Blue Rose was established by Mary Magdalene after the crucifixion of Yeshua. Yeshua is the true name that has come into English as Jesus. It's a special order for only the most faithful followers of the Nazarene religion of the Essene Way. You see, immediately after the crucifixion, many of the male followers of Yeshua, Jesus, refused to accept a woman, Mary Magdalene, as their leader. Magdalene, the rightful successor to Yeshua, established the Order of the Blue Rose for those who remain faithful to her. She established the order in Israel shortly after the crucifixion, then escaped to France, carrying the baby of her husband and co-Messiah, Yeshua. They were legally married in Cana. Now, before we go any further, I should provide some background information on the significance of Mary Magdalene. According to the scriptures of the Nazarene religion of the Essene Way, there is both a Lord Christ and a Lady Christ. They work together and are eternal consorts in this world and many others. On earth, they are known by the name Jesus and Mary Magdalene. Because the world was so patriarchal at the time the Lord Jesus Christ and Lady Christ came to earth 2,000 years ago, the Magdalene was rejected even more fully than Jesus. The idea that Mary Magdalene was a reformed prostitute is simply an erroneous Catholic legend. An early Catholic pope confused Mary Magdalene with another New Testament woman who was a reformed prostitute, and that became Catholic belief. But never in the New Testament does it say that. In fact, Catholic scholars today admit that this pope made an error. The New Testament does say that Jesus cast 7 demons out of Mary Magdalene, but the scrolls say Jesus cast 7 demons off her, not out of her. 7 demonically possessed men had jumped the Magdalene and tried to rape her, but Jesus came to her defense and cast the demonically possessed men off of her. On the night that Yeshua, we know Jesus, and Miriam, Mary Magdalene, conceived their baby, the Holy Grail child, he gifted her with her favorite flower, the blue rose. The Magdalene wore the blue rose in her hair when she conceived the Grail child. The next morning, Yeshua was arrested, and 3 days later, he was crucified. After the crucifixion, Miriam, pregnant with the Grail child, was rejected by many of the male followers of Yeshua, mainly those who had been non-Nazarene converts from mainstream Judaism and were not disposed to accept a woman guru. Soon, she fled to France with the Grail child in her womb. Her most devoted disciples followed her to France and formed what later came to be called the Order of the Magdalene, which was her devoted inner circle of personal students. But the original name of the order, chosen by Miriam herself, was the Order of the Blue Rose. That name came from the rose that Yeshua had gifted her on their last night before his arrest, the rose that she had worn in her hair during the conception of the Grail child. Miriam saved that rose, dried it, and used it in the initiation rituals of the order. This was appropriate, for the inner circles of initiates within this order became members of the Grail family and have a special relationship with the Holy Grail child. So now we're going to take our genealogy story a little further to a documentary that was made called The Jesus Strand. Now, most of us believe that Jesus was a Jew, but when we do the gematria on Jew, we get 57. Human is 57. But Jesus, his gematria is 74. And let's take the story a little further. So in this documentary, they tested the Shroud of Turin and the Certorium of Oviedo, which is the cloth that enveloped the body and face of Jesus. A group of forensic scientists and geneticists got together to research. They decided to research the DNA. And what was the conclusion? Well, the conclusion was that Jesus, or at least the Shroud of Turin, did not have DNA that descended from Jewish DNA. They discovered that the DNA was closest to those of Drew's descent. They are descendants from Jethro, priest of Midian in the Bible and in the Torah, and their origins can be traced to ancient Egypt, to the Middle East, the Levant, which is inclusive of Syria, Tunisia, Lebanon, Libya, Egypt, Jordan, and Palestine. They are an Abrahamic monotheistic religion, and they all derive, as I said, from Levant. The one thing that was even more interesting than just the DNA conclusion was that both samples of blood from the Shroud of Turin and the Sertorium were AB negative. And AB negative blood is the rarest blood type on earth. Less than 1% of the population is AB negative. So when we do the gematria on Jesus, we come to the conclusion that Jesus was a Druze. Druze 74, Jesus 74, Messiah 74, Code of Man 74. I thought I'd do some simple gematria on just the word Jesus strand. The result is 150. The Holy Bible Code, 150. Human God Soul, 150. The Lord is Alive, 150. Magdalene Bloodline, 150. Then I did the gematria on the Shroud of Turin. Shroud of Turin, 188. Cloth image of Jesus, 188. Image of God in the flesh, 188. The Lord in the flesh, 188. The image of Father Omega, 188. An image of God the Father, 188. And finally, perhaps the most beautiful, Jesus of Nazareth, 188.
Sabrina Gal,
Yes, sir.
later, later, I'm gonna call on you to read those 188s again. Okay.
Okay.
And the numbers you did before, they were,
Perfect.
what were the numbers before? You just did before.
74s. I had some 74s in there, 57s, and 150s.
Well, you had 74, Gematria 74, Q Army 74, and then 150. We had Tesla tell us that the magnificence of the numbers 3, 6, and 9 would unlock the keys of the universe. 3, 6, 9 spelled out, come to 150. Trump train equals 150.
So now we're going to take the story a little further, and we're going to go to Abraham Lincoln, who was born on February 12th, 1809, and he was our 16th president. Abraham Lincoln was actually of Druze descent. Amazing, huh? We were told that he was English, but Abraham Lincoln's real name was Ibrahim Khalil Kaluni. And again, he was a Druze. And how do we know that? Well, there's a couple of projects that have been ongoing, and you can find them on the web. One of them called the Lincoln DNA Project, and there was tests being done on that. But there was a second project done on the matrilinear line, meaning the mother line of Lincoln. And his mother's name was Nancy Hanks. Now, they took some artifacts and they contacted some of the descendants, relatives of Nancy Hanks, and they tested the DNA. And the conclusion was fascinating. They found that Nancy Hanks, meaning Abraham Lincoln, was of a very rare matrilineal haplogroup. Now, a haplogroup is a genetic population that you can test to determine who has the closest chromosomes or DNA in a particular region or a particular group. And with Nancy Hanks, they found that her maternal haplogroup was X1C. And now the X haplogroups are the rarest matrilineal haplogroups in Europe, found in only 1% of the population, similar to the AB negative blood that is also found in only 1% of the population. Now, X haplogroups in Europe can be observed in certain groups. They're observed in Greece, Macedonia, Romania, Armenia, Scotland, Catalonia, which is near Barcelona, Spain, and in the Basque Country. And if you're familiar with the Basque, that's the region between Spain and France in the Pyrenees. Now, the X haplogroup variants are also found in the Eurasian population. Listen to this. They are found in the Druze of Lebanon, Syria, Israel, Tunisia, Egypt, Sardinia, and also in Asturias, Spain. So when we put together all this information, we come to the conclusion that Nancy Hanks was of X1C haplogroup, again, the rarest one found in Europe and also in the Eurasian population. And the haplogroup was most common in relationship to Nancy Hansen Lincoln, to the Levant, to Tunisia, and to Italy. So when we do the gematria on Ibrahim Khalil Kaluni, which is the real name of Abraham Lincoln, the result is 199. Divine Master Teacher, 199. Name of Christ Lord, 199. The Lord's Higher Plan, 199. It's God's Prophecy, 199. And finally, God's Family Bloodline, 199. So Abraham Lincoln, or we know him as Ibrahim Khalil Kaluni, he married a woman named Mary Todd, and they had 4 sons. Those sons were Robert Todd Lincoln, Edward Eddie Baker Lincoln, William Wallace Lincoln, who was actually named after that infamous freedom fighter, William Wallace of Braveheart, who many of you probably remember from the film Braveheart, who at the end of the film, he screams out, as he's being killed, the word freedom. And the 4th brother is Thomas Tad Lincoln. We're going to speak to the lineage of William Wallace Lincoln right now. Now, the 3 brothers, we were told, died. And Abraham Lincoln suffered tremendous melancholy at the thought that his sons had died. But in actuality, they did not die. They were sent to Benghazi, Libya. And you're probably asking, why were they sent to Benghazi, Libya? Let me give you a little story of what was going on in the time. In 1855, ISIS, which is the Israeli Secret Intelligence Service, we also know them as Mossad, was formed by the kings of Morocco and the kings of Libya. They were known as the Hassan family. They signed in the Mohammedi law, which was to kill the bloodlines of Jesus Christ. Those are the Druze. 6 years later, they merged with Skull and Bones, the Rothschilds, the Schiffs, the Rockefellers, the Serfs, who we also know as the Bush family, and the Kissingers. The UK royals, artificially inseminated by the Rothschilds, had taken control of the satanic Sanusi Hassan family of Libya. And when ISIS was created, they merged with Skull and Bones to assassinate JFK. So William Wallace Lincoln was sent then to Benghazi to protect him because he was a descendant of Jesus Christ of the Druze bloodline. And William Wallace Lincoln took a new name. He became Omar Mukhtar. Now, if you're familiar with a very famous movie called The Lion in the Desert, starring Anthony Quinn, he portrayed Omar Mukhtar. And Omar Mukhtar was another freedom fighter who fought for independence for Libya against the Italians, the Italian colonialists, who were basically an extension of the Holy Roman Empire, who were sent to Libya to massacre the Druze people. When we do the gematria on Omar Mukhtar, the name of William Wallace Lincoln when he moved to Benghazi, the result is 131. John F. Kennedy is 131. The Chosen One, 131. God is Christ, 131. Make America Great, 131. The Alpha and the Omega, 131. And finally, Mary Jesus, 131.
Can I,
Of course.
yeah, so 131. John F. Kennedy, 131. Make America Great, 131. Trump said Make America Great Again was more than a political slogan. Make America Great Again, 163. John F. Kennedy, again, 163. Alpha and the Omega, again, 163. Alpha and the Omega is the beginning and the end. I am the beginning and the end. A is 1, Z is 26, that's 27, JFK is 27.
Perfect. So we were just speaking of William Wallace Lincoln, who was also known as Omar Mukhtar, the famous lion in the desert, who fought the Italians. He unfortunately died in 1931 at the age of 81, but before dying, he had children. Omar Mukhtar married an Armenian woman, a woman of Armenian descent, and later in our discussion, we're going to learn how important Armenia is in the story. So Omar, aka William Wallace, married and had 4 children: Gaida, Saida, Mary, and they also had a son. And because that son was a descendant of the Druze, descendant of the Jesus Christ, the Jesus stand, he was shot and killed in 1942. Now Mary, his 3rd daughter, married a prince. She married a man named Prince Said Isa Kaluni. Isa is a beautiful name. And let me tell you what it means. In Arabic, it's Jesus. In Egyptian, God saves. And in Islam, it is a prophet's name. Let me tell you a little bit about the Kalunis and where they derive from. Prince Said Isa Kaluni was born in the orchards in the governorate of Mount Lebanon. He arrived at the port of Derna, Libya, on March 1911, coming from the port of Beirut, Lebanon. They had 2 sons. Let me tell you about their sons. Their first son was born on July 25th, 1915, and his name was Joseph. The second son was born on May 29th, 1917, and his name was John. Joseph and John Kaluni. Now remember, the Mohammedi law was still in effect, and these 2 sons of Mary and of the prince were in danger. In fact, the prince was executed. Let me give you a little story from Patrick Bouvier Kennedy. I mentioned him earlier, that he is alive and he is the brother of JFK Jr. He wrote, "The real Holocaust of the descendants of Christ happened between 1911 to 1943 in Libya, where hundreds of thousands of Libyans were murdered in camps in both Libya and in military prisons in Italy. In 1912, thousands of Libyans were shipped and murdered in Gaeta military prison." So with that in mind, it was very important to protect Joseph and John. There was another massacre, a continuation of the same massacre of the Druze that killed Christ, Abraham Lincoln, William Wallace Lincoln, his son, the prince, and finally they did assassinate JFK. At the time, to protect John and Joseph, they were sent to the United States, and they were adopted and they were raised by a very famous family, the Kennedys. When we do the gematria on John Kennedy, we get 125. Biblical Lord God, 125. Welcome Lord, 125. Son of Light, 125. Holiest Being, 125. Meet the Lord, 125. And the Alpha and Omega code, 125.
Excuse me. Most High God, 125. Dark to light, 1:25. Everything in the dark comes to the light.
So I thought it would be interesting, since we know that John and Joseph were both born Kalunis, to test the gematria on Kaluni to see if it comes out to similar results as it did for John Kennedy. When we do the gematria on John Kaluni, the result is 132. The living God, 132. God's prophecy, 132. The Most High, 132. JFK Jr. is alive, 132. No coincidence, 132. And finally, God in the flesh, 132.
Just so everybody knows, it was coded in the plane crash. See, P is 16 and C is 3. 163, Make America Great Again, 163. Double-edged sword, 163. Alpha and the Omega again, 163. So in the plane crash, P is 16, C is 3, which is 19. It could have been 1999, but they wrote the date down 7/16/99 plane crash. P16, C3, which is 19. KAG, Keep America Great. KAG is 19. Keep America Great, 138. Donald Trump, 138. Beautiful Freak, 138. I am positive, 138. So I'm in the zone, 138. MAGA in the zone, 138. So you have 7/16/99 plane crash. P and C are capital. That's the letters you count. 7 plus 1 plus 6 plus 99 plus P plus C, 132. JFK Jr. is alive, 132. The mere reflection of 231, which we'll get to later.
Great, thank you. So we now know that John and Joseph were born Kaluni, adopted by the Kennedys, by Rose and Joe Kennedy, and raised as their children. Now, John married Jacqueline in an arranged marriage. And when we do the gematria on Jacqueline Bouvier Kennedy, the result is 211. Ark of the Covenant, 211. Order of the Blue Rose, 211, which connects Jackie then back to Mary Magdalene, the Essenes, the Merovingians, and the Jesus strand. Now, John and Jacqueline had children. We know in history that their first child, born in 1956, was Arabella, who we were told was stillborn. There was Caroline in 1957, John Jr. in 1960, and Patrick in 1963, who died 39 hours after he was born. But through research and the Twitter account of Patrick Bouvier Kennedy, we learned that there was actually a third sister, and her name is Fatima, and she was born in 1962 by surrogate. So you're probably asking yourself, well, how come we didn't see all these children? Well, we have to go back to the story. They're all descendants of the Druze, descendants of the Jesus strand, and Mohaddami law is still in place. There was the threat of killing the bloodline. So Arabella, Fatima, and Patrick were raised in Benghazi, Libya. Now, who raised them, you're probably asking? This is where the story gets interesting. Remember, we said 3 boys, 3 sons of Abraham Lincoln and Mary Todd were sent to Benghazi. The brother, named Edward Eddie Baker Lincoln, born March 10th, 1846, was sent to live in Benghazi. And his grandson raised Arabella and Patrick and Fatima. His name was Moftah Salim Ghazala Khazar Ahmad, and his wife was Aziza al-Masli. As I said, they raised Arabella, and they were the surrogate. Aziza was the surrogate of Jack and Jackie's third daughter, Fatima. They had a daughter of their own, and they also helped raise Patrick. Do we want to let anyone know who the daughter is, Negative?
Yeah,
should we-
let's do all the other ones first, and then we'll do her last.
Okay, so we'll keep that for last. So Patrick, Fatima, and Arabella were all raised in Benghazi by more Lincolns, because they're all related to Abraham. And unfortunately, Fatima's son and an uncle were killed under the Mohammadi law. So we know that the assassination of the bloodlines of Jesus Christ and the Druze continued and continued. When we then go a little further, I'm sure everyone is very curious about John F. Kennedy Jr. and if he and Carolyn have children. We know that they are alive. The Gematria proves that, along with all the other information we've been gathering in this Great Awakening. So I am going to tell you some secrets about who their children are. John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette actually wed earlier than the dates that we were told. And they had some children.
So the date that the pen, which thinks it's mightier than the sword, at least everybody keeps saying that, but guess what? That sword can cut down anything it wants, and that's exactly what it's going to be doing here real soon. So, according to the pen, Junior and
Amen.
Carolyn were married on September 21st. Now, 921 is uranium 1, because uranium's 92 on the periodic table. Uranium 1, which 92 and 1 is 93. The Pope wears red shoes 93. We all know the color, the material of those shoes. Those shoes are made from human skin, baby skin shoes, dyed blood red. And Trump told him to wear those red shoes when he came and handed over his power to Trump and gave him all the wealth. And the Pope looks like he'd been ran over by 2 trains, and Trump trains to be exact. And Trump had the biggest smile on his face ever. So anyway, think Mir 921, 129, the time of day that JFK was shot and killed in Dallas, Texas. See, in Dallas it's 1229, but the Osiris clock, the sundial, the Washington Monument, Osiris's penis that they tell time with, these Satanists, it was 129, the mirror reflection of 921 when Junior got married. Go ahead.
Great, thank you. So let's start with some bombs. The first bomb is that they had 3 children, but those 3 children were carried by surrogate. And who do you think that surrogate may have been? That surrogate was Arabella Kennedy, who did not die, but as I said, was sent to Benghazi. And she carried the first 3 children of JF Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette. The first child is someone we all know and love, Kaylee McEnany. The second child is a son, another individual we know and love. His name is Ezra Cohen Watnick. And the third son, carried by Arabella on behalf of Junior and Carolyn, is Josh Kennedy. And he's a very famous, I believe, rugby player. Is that correct, Negative?
Correct.
In Australia, I believe it's rugby. So those are the first 3 children of Junior and Carolyn. Now, we also know that there are maybe 3 more, I like to call them munchkins, that were born of Junior and Carolyn. And that can be seen in, what was the rally, Negative, that they were all there?
That was July 25th, 2018, the 103rd birthday of Joe Kennedy in Youngstown, Ohio. Youngstown, Ohio, 220, military operation 220. And the two youngest of the three, which were like 15, 16 years old, were right off Trump's left knee because the crowd was, down below him. He was up on a platform. And the third one, which they filmed for at least 7 minutes that I saw, and they moved him around. Of course, the camera just followed him, and he's smiling at the camera because anytime you're getting away with something that's kind of a secret, you have what they call dubious delight, where you're just forced to smile or at least crack the corner of your mouth if you're closer to a psychopath. But he's got this big smile on his face because he's not anywhere near a psychopath, and he looks just like his great-great-grandfather, just identical. And they just kept moving around all over. So we don't know the names of the three youngest ones, but they belong to Carolyn and John.
Beautiful,
was-
beautiful bombs, right?
Yeah, and that was the rally where Vincent Fushka showed up behind Trump's right shoulder, because Vincent Fushka is John F. Kennedy Jr. And he's over his right shoulder because he's Trump's right-hand man. And over his left shoulder was Carolyn, just wearing a hat. She didn't even have a disguise on. And John, backwards in the air, wrote JFK JR with his finger. He put a laser on it, and they trace it. He writes JFK JR, and he had a Women for Trump sign, and on it was red ink. And in that red ink, it said Ruby Cute. Ruby Cute 115, his birthday, 11 plus 25 plus 19 plus 60, 115. The day they shot his dad, 11 plus 22 plus 19 plus 63, 115. We're at war, 115. Key Code of God, 115. Trump JFK, 115. Trump's book, Art of the Deal, 115. Think Mirror, 511. Junior showed up on the Q boards 5 months and 11 days after Q started on April 8th, 48. God, I know that number, 48. 2018. I know that number, 2018. 218, because 0 means nothing. Operation Sunrise, 218. Where we go one, we go all, 218. Mysterious Eyes, 218. John F. Kennedy Jr., 218. Michael Brian Protzman, 218. He's right, 218. A tweet Trump sent to me once about the Great Awakening. Anyway, Guardians of the Galaxy, 218. So that was the rally. Youngstown, Ohio, July 25th, 2018.
Fantastic. We are going to now
That's blowing my mind.
turn the mic over to Toronto. And as I said earlier, Armenia is very, very important in the Jesus Trans story. So Toronto, take it away.
Thank you. Hello and welcome, Patriots. I know you all love Intel, as do I, but just as important, if not more, is for us to find out who we are and know how we got here. And I quote, "Silence ensures that history repeats itself, and history repeats itself endlessly for those who are unwilling to learn from the past." End quote. So folks, it's time to learn and be just as excited as we discover our past. My journey on this deep research started early last year, 2020, with Patrick Bouvier Kennedy on Facebook. He then was on Twitter and now continued here on Telegram. I also was lucky enough to find Michael and Sabrina Gal early and continue my research. With them, and because of them, I've been able to connect so many dots about Armenia, the connection to Jesus, the Kennedys, Christianity, Lady Diana, and our roots. So although you'll be hearing me say Armenian throughout this presentation, please remember we are all one. And where we go one, we go all. In 1939, just before the invasion of Poland, Adolf Hitler told his generals, and I quote, "The aim of war is not to reach definite lines, but to annihilate the enemy physically. It is by this means that we shall obtain the vital living space that we need." Who today still speaks of the massacre of the Armenians, end quote. He was referring to the systematic murder of Armenians by Turkish leaders from the Ottoman Empire during World War I. It was because of the Armenian genocide where the word genocide was coined. And the story of the Armenian genocide and its legacies is all what we would now say crimes against humanity and all civilization. Have you heard of Armenia? Many haven't. An English historian is quoted saying, "Visiting Armenia means entering humanity's purest form, known for millennium of their survival because of their spiritual strength." The more I research and discover, I believe it was by design of the Luciferian cabal to erase Armenia and to bring the least amount of attention to what is left of it. We'll start with Noah's Ark. It landed on the mountains of Ararat in Armenia. Noah's sons and grandsons emigrated those lands. It is in Armenia that Noah and his family began the process of repopulating the world after the deluge that nearly destroyed the human race. Just this month, my mind was blown when I made the connection that the Garden of Eden was in Armenia. According to the book of Genesis, the Garden of Eden was located near the 4 rivers of paradise: Euphrates, Tigris, Arax, Pishon, all rise in the mountains south of Lake Van near in the Armenian highlands. I was then led to look into Abraham, grandson of Noah. He was born in Urfa, Armenia. My jaw dropped once again. Once I discovered that, I wanted to know who founded Armenia. Well, his name was Haik the Great. From the research and description, and what we've come to learn, what Sabrina Gal mentioned earlier, I believe he was a giant. He was the grandson of Noah through his son Japhet. Well, most of us have heard of and know of Cyrus the Great, who conquered Babylon in 539 BC. We know of Goliath, who was taken out by David in 11th century. But what's not talked about or ever referenced is in 2492 BC, Haik the Great took nearly an impossible shot using a long bow, and he took out the founder of Babylon, King Bel. Recently, Whiplash, a JFK account, and Ezra on Telegram shared a photo from the Holy Bible in 1630, and on page 2, it shows a photo of Armenia as the origin of humanity. Later, Armenia was erased from the Bible after the 18th century, when the King James Version of the Bible was altered from the 1600s. We now can find Armenia mentioned only once in the Bible. Are you starting to wonder why you've never heard of Armenia? And I'll pause here and do some gematria. Armenia, cradle of civilization, 274. The keys to the universe, 274. The greatest show on earth, 274. You'll find the truth here, 274. It's in God's holy hands now, 274. In Aquarius, Christ's Son, 274. Apocalypse is to uncover, 274. Old manuscripts prove that the Armenian highlands are the very cradle of our civilization. Currently in Armenia, there are 17,000 manuscripts of Jesus and those early days not found anywhere else. Some of the oldest things were found in Armenia. The oldest leather shoe, 5,500 years old. A sky observatory, 7,500 years old. Depictions of agriculture, 7,500 years old. Winemaking facility, 6,100 years old. And some famous Armenians I recently researched: the inventor of photochemistry, inventor of the dollar paint, the creator of the green color on the American bill that can't be forged. An Armenian invented the primary control of the first Sikorsky helicopter, as well as the pneumatic inoculation gun. The founder of color television, inventor of the motorized wheelchair, inventor of the MRI machine, inventor of the ultrasound, and more than 200 other inventions. Some more gematria. Armenian land of Noah, 165. Heritage of Abraham, 165. Second coming of Christ, 165. The bloodline of Christ, 165. Donald Trump's nuclear war, 165. And Fresno, California, which is where the majority of Armenians ended up after the genocide, is 165.
Resurrection, 165.
So being born and raised in Canada to Armenian parents, it was instilled in us from a very young kindergarten age that life is about God, country, and freedom. And that's all we knew. It was, we would die for God, we would die for country and freedom. And this is still evident to this day, which I'll go into soon. It was just a way of life and a daily battle in the homeland. It's very familiar to what we as patriots are fighting for now. So imagine this last 2 years and everything we've gone through and all the patriots that have stepped up and those who have turned to God. This, in a nutshell, has been, since the beginning of time, what Armenia has been fighting for. So I'll go into the genocides and wars in a bit, but a little bit of history of how it began. So Armenia, known as the land of Noah, is in the Middle East, situated between Turkey, Iran, and Azerbaijan. Clay tablets of the oldest Babylonian maps show Babylon, Armenia, and Assyria. Native to their land, since the dawn of history, Armenia traces back to 3rd century and back to the Paleolithic period. Armenia became the first country in the world to officially embrace Christianity. In 436 AD, Armenia was one of the first languages in which the Bible was translated. So going back to what Sabrina Gal was saying earlier, it was in 436 AD, the Armenian Bible was written. I recently researched how the Armenian people converted to Christianity from paganism, and how this came about is also divine. I'll briefly tell you the story. After the death of Jesus, 2 of the apostles went straight to Armenia and started the underground, quote unquote, church to spread the word of the Lord. One of the descendants of the apostles was Gregory. He became the assistant to the king of Armenia. In refusing to follow worshiping pagan statues, the king ordered that Gregory's hands and legs be tied and that he be thrown into Khor Virab, a dark prison dungeon, to die. Gregory did not die. During his 13 years of imprisonment in that dungeon, his survival was attributed to a Christian widow from the local town who, under the influence of a strange dream vision, regularly fed Gregory by dropping a loaf of freshly baked bread into the pit. During these years, many nuns and religious leaders fled Rome and other cities to Armenia to join the Christian movement. However, what ensued was the persecution and murder of them and many Christians by the king. He went mad and is said to have behaved like a wild boar, while torments fell on his household and demons possessed the people of the city. It was then that the king's sister had a vision in the night where an angel told her about the prisoner Gregory in the city, of who could end the torments with the words, "When he comes, he will teach you the remedies for all your ills. People did not place much reliance on that vision, as most thought that Gregory had died within days of his being cast into the pit. But the king's sister had the same dream repeatedly, eventually threatened that if the dream's instructions were not followed, there would be dire consequences. The prince was deputed to get Gregory from Horvirap, the dungeon. He went to the pit and shouted to Gregory, saying, "Gregory, if you are somewhere down there, come out. The God whom you worship has commanded that you be brought out." Gregory was brought out in a miserable state. He was taken to the king, who had gone mad, tearing his own skin. Gregory cured the king and brought him back to his senses. Gregory knew of all the atrocities committed and saw the bodies of the martyrs who were later cremated. The king, accompanied by his court, approached Gregory, seeking forgiveness for all the sins they committed. Henceforth, Gregory started preaching Christianity to the king, his court, his army, and the state. This made Armenia the first Christian state in the world in 301 AD. And to this day, 97% plus are of Christian faith. This Christian nation devoted to God ended up by countries landlocked that over time converted to Islam. Fast forward to 15th century, Armenia was absorbed into the Ottoman Empire. The rulers were Muslim, and this is when history ties us to who we've come to learn are the Khazars, the Rothschilds, the Khazarian mafia. One of the countries the Khazarian mafia Satanists took power and control of was Turkey. In the late 1800s, the systematic and premeditated killing and deportation of Armenians started, and by the end of World War I in 1917, over 2 million Armenians were slaughtered and killed. Children and elders, men and women. Why? Religious persecution, that's why. They refused to convert to Islam and denounce Jesus Christ. The plan always has been, and still is to this day, to Turkify C2C, that part of the world, which in a future presentation will be explored at in length through Gladio A and B. Those that fled marched through the deserts in horrific conditions, starving, being raped, robbed, deprived of water, and they went to the neighboring countries Sabrina Gal mentioned, the Levant, mainly Syria and Lebanon. That's where my parents were born. It didn't end there. Many wars were fought, and thousands of patriot freedom fighters have died since. The Armenian army was controlled by the government with ties to British royals. And so at a moment's notice, patriots from around the world would fly to Armenia for battle to this day. Right up until the last few months of 2020, amidst the pandemic and all countries and allied countries preoccupied with the coronavirus, Turkey and Israel armed Azerbaijan to take over what's left of Armenia. It was during this time I started tweeting with Patrick Bouvier Kennedy on Twitter, and he'd share with me why are they after the Armenians? And he would say, it is the bloodline. He replied to a tweet that George Papadopoulos had put out asking the government to recognize the Armenian genocide. And he responded, if they would declass the JFK files, this current genocide would never have happened, Patrick said to George. This got me on a journey of researching what he meant by that. The ties to JFK, whose grandmother, now we learned, was Armenian. And in my research, I found that Lady Diana was also part Armenian. Patrick would say, religion is a big fat lie. It is the bloodline they're after. They, the Rothschild, are antichrist, and they hate Jews and Armenians, the Druze, the descendants of Christ. A tweet was shared during this time as well, which really put things in perspective. and it said, "This is going to be a hard pill to swallow. Grandchildren of genocide perpetrators, Turkey, are killing grandchildren of genocide survivors, Armenians, with weapons supplied by the children of Holocaust survivors, Israel." And there was another tweet that was shared by, of all people, Kanye West. He put a snapshot of his private message on his iPhone to somebody I guess he knows in Armenia, and he wrote to him, "Pray for Armenia." He said, "I would love to bring Sunday service to Armenia and do a concert for peace. Do you think the president would cover all the costs?" And this person in Armenia responded, "At the moment, no. We are losing the war, Kanye. We literally have no weapons. The enemy has drones from Turkey and Israel, and we have ... guns, and no country. No one is helping. It's a David Goliath battle, literally. It'll be my God's hands, my God's only miracle that we come out of this victorious." And Kanye responded to him, "Okay, speaking with team now to figure out how to get there as soon as possible. Praying for Armenia." So going back to the genocide, the Turkish government to this day denies the genocide happened. And although many countries around the world have recognized it, the USA was not one of them until this year. On the anniversary of the Armenian genocide, which is April 24th, Joe Biden issued a statement saying, quote, "The American people honor all those Armenians who perished the genocide that began 106 years ago today." We all know who truly made that official statement, and I pray the truth comes out sooner than later. The Armenian genocide did not take place without witnesses, journalists, missionaries, and diplomats from many countries who witnessed the genocide or listened to first-hand accounts. The United States president at the time, Woodrow Wilson, didn't want to pressure the Turks or the German that was backing the Turks of the atrocities being committed against the Armenian people. He chose to remain neutral. And many presidents, like Obama, would campaign and promise to recognize the genocide, but nothing. Until last year, Kaylee, in the press room, shocked Armenians globally and upset the Turkish prime minister when she used the word genocide in responding to a genocide memorial statue in Colorado that was vandalized during the riots of early last year. Followed by a statement that President Trump made, which I found on Bloomberg, and I quote what he said, "We're working with Armenia. We have a very good relationship with Armenia. They're very good people. They're so dedicated. They're incredible people, and we'll see what happens." And then he took a pause, and I quote again, "We have a lot of people living in this country from Armenia, originally from Armenia, and they're great people, and we're going to help them." President Trump didn't mention Azerbaijan in his remarks. So it has brought me so much peace knowing Armenia is not alone. This small country, somewhat forgotten and defenseless compared to the weapons of mass destruction and the Rothschild minions surrounding them have, with the help of Patrick Kennedy, Michael, Sabrina, sharing their research after all these years, it finally answered my one question: why? Why not just let these people be? They're just a small country with barely 3 million people left in Armenia. Now we know it's the bloodline and our roots. Patrick has also tweeted, Jesus' grandmother, who was Saint Anne, was Armenian. She was born from the house of David. The line prophesies to give birth to Christ. It's not talked about, but the birth of Mother Mary was also divine. I'll leave you with a quote a French author / historian wrote in 1916 during the genocide that should give us all strength and courage for what we've lived through as Americans and look at it as us, as humanity as a whole. Armenia is dying, but it will survive. The little blood that is left is precious blood that will give birth to a heroic generation. A nation that does not want to die does not die. And I'll end it with just a little more gematria. Armenian Holy Land, 166. Faithful and true, 166. Let my people go, 166. The Omega Lord plan, 166. The Promised One, 166. And Trump Kennedy, 166. Thank you all.
What do you think?
I suspect.
Yeah.
I just didn't know. I knew that when John F. Kennedy was assassinated, that she was pregnant. I just didn't realize that the child actually was born.
Right.
She miscarried after he was shot.
Supposedly.
Supposedly. You're frozen.
Yeah, I know. I gotta go. I gotta get up, get in my wheelchair, go over there and push the button. But he wants to go out too, so I'm gonna take him out and do the button at the same time. Be back.
All right, that worked.
That was pretty crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about saying that Jesus was married. You would think Jesus would be pure.
I mean, that doesn't mean that he wasn't pure. I mean, what if back in the day, I mean, to expect a human man who's in his 30s to not be married and have a family, that was normal. That doesn't mean he was sinful.
Oh no, I didn't say that. He was married. No.
I mean, why wouldn't he be married? He's an able-bodied, providing tradesman. I mean, he was a carpenter by trade. To say he
Did
never.
you get who his child was? I didn't get who.
It was confusing. I know that there's a connection between him and Trump and Kennedy and Patton and.
Well, see, I didn't know the Kennedys were adopted.
Yeah, all these people. I mean, but it's like intersections. You know, it's like another piece of the puzzle, and this puzzle can go this way, or it can go this way, or it can go that way, or it can go down.
That means John was not senior was not a pure bloodline of the bad Kennedy family.
No. And neither is Trump, because he's adopted.
Now, who was the other son that was adopted? But him, it was
Robert.
Was it Robert? Because they looked alike.
Yeah, Robert and John looked exactly alike. And
they have the
I'm just sorry. I mean, there was how many? What was Elvis's twin? Did he die? That's another thing too. Because I've heard stories that Elvis's brother didn't die at birth.
Well, I wonder why. There had to be a surrogate.
Yeah.
So nobody can tell that she was pregnant. Even though it was her child, other people won't know that the child was really.
Had technology that we didn't have access to, or even know of. I mean, even today, we don't even. We never. I mean, if we weren't awake, people that are asleep don't even know about med beds.
I was watching a documentary on JFK Jr. and it was talking about when they met and all that. There was a time when they broke up for a little while and she kind of disappeared. And then next thing you know, they were married.
Well, I mean, she was pregnant. We all know that.
Yeah. That's why
The
she disappeared.
first was Katie McEnany, Ezra Cohen, and then the third one who's some rugby player. Apparently they have 5 kids. No, 6 kids. 6.
Wait,
They're-
Ezra is JFK's junior's kid. Junior and Caroline's kid, right?
Mhm, mhm.
And
Yeah,
Haley, Josh, and
there's 6. 6. They had 6 kids.
wow.
So just like the top 13 families. Well, not only was Kennedy on that list, Onassis was on that list.
You know, my husband's got AB negative blood.
My friend Nikki and her boyfriend that I hooked up with, they both have AB negative.
They always wanted me. They always wanted her. He always wanted him to donate.
Which is weird. And I hooked 2 people up that both have the same, the most rare genetic blood type. Who knew? Well, she's half Egyptian Canadian, and his family's from Romania. They were run out of. Actually, they were.
Good night. Who are you talking about? Oh, your friend.
My friend, he was my bestie. He was a former Marine. You know, we became friends, and then my friend, I got her off of drugs. So I ended up introducing them, and they ended up getting in a relationship together, which I never hooked them up because it's no one big drama. So sorry, my language, but love them to death. But they're a drama. They're both drama. So, but how do I introduced her to him when I was trying to get her away from her drug addict boyfriend. I got her off of drugs, and they met, and the next thing you know, they're attached at the hip, and it's been 3 years now. But they both have the rarest blood type, both AB negative.
I don't think they could have.
Oh, do you have a speaker on or something?
No, I got my headphones on.
The echo. Weird.
Everybody's trying to sleep and it gets loud, so I took my headphones on. I haven't moved.
No, she's not got an echo for me.
So you're still locked.
I know. I'm working on it. I did the plug. Wait.
I don't know my blood type. Hey, shift kicker. I don't know my blood type.
I don't remember either. I know I do. It's A something.
I can't remember. I think it's B. I'm not sure, but I don't think I'm negative. I'm not sure, so I don't care. And
I'm still frozen. I don't know what's wrong.
You may have to hop out of StreamYard then hop back in.
Well, I can just be like this. The light didn't come on. I don't have a clue.
But I mean, what's the odds of hooking up 2 people randomly that both have the same rare blood type ever?
That is odd. I wonder which Brenda said she knows she's negative, but she doesn't know her ABCs. And I can hear myself talk.
So I know I'm not O. I know that, but I don't know what I am.
I am O.
I know. Most O, you can use any blood. So
O positive is the oldest blood type known.
Yeah.
Don't know why. And it comes
the way it is.
Africa and England and that makes no sense. How do they go from Africa to England with those?
I don't know.
Me either.
Don says, "Don't give out your blood type." I don't know it. I can't give it out. I don't know it.
I think she was talking to me.
Oh.
But I don't.
I mean, they're after me for everything. It doesn't. I don't really care. Come knock on my door.
They've had so many times to get me when I've been under the anesthesia that if they wanted me, they'd have gotten me. They probably don't want anything to do with me.
The only thing I own is my car. So if they want to take my car, you know, they can't take my car because I have to pay my bills. But if they do, oh well. So.
Yep, that video was quite interesting.
I mean, it is.
This is the second time in the same day.
What?
I said, this is the second time I've heard it today.
Oh, okay.
And
I mean, where did he come from? I never heard of him until 2 weeks ago.
it's more powerful the second time because you're not surprised so much at what they say, so you're not going off on tangent, and you're actually processing more of it. I think that there were parts of that it was like, oh yeah, they did say that, you know, that kind of thing. Uh-oh, Vicky went away.
Damn.
Vicky went away.
So is that a new JP?
Yes.
All right. So.
You remember those? Oh, I can't show you because I'm frozen. But that 17 pages of my letter to the doctor, it's now down to 3. I'm making progress. What'd you put me up for? Oh, you must have gone hit the wrong button too. Anybody in chat? Hello. Who's in chat? I don't even know now.
What?
There she is.
Hit the wrong button.
Yeah.
There's Vicky.
Hey, Vicky, she stuck me out here by myself.
Yeah.
Hold up. Damn it. The phone. It's gonna. The phone's gonna go off.
You need to get a new phone.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
It's gonna go off because it's overheating. It's gonna restart.
You need to get a new phone.
There she goes. But at least we know why. It wasn't a button.
Yeah.
Who's
Oh,
in
here
chat?
we go. Dawn's in
bravery.
Yep. Here we go. I'm gonna drop the link. Paste. There we go. But we're gonna share the new JP. He's funny.
Yeah, that's why I stuck it up there.
There we go. That's what she said. So, there we go.
Are you sick of all these coffee companies coming out of nowhere? Like Black Rifle Coffee Co. or AK-47 Coffee Company? Are you tired of hearing opinions and viewpoints that are different than yours? And you wish everyone would just shut up and watch CNN in peace? And also you really enjoy vegan hemp milk lattes? Introducing Inclusive Progressive Coffee Roasters of Tolerance.
We've got more buzzwords in our name than a cardboard sign at your local protest.
So you know we make good coffee. CNN calls us the only coffee you should drink unless
everybody.
The New York Times writes, the most inclusive, exclusive coffee company in the world.
And the White House says, if you don't drink this coffee, we will deport you. We're the first coffee company to introduce critical coffee theory, which is all about how oat milk has risen over the years to drive out black coffee drinkers through violent and oppressive coffee orders.
We need to teach our children that they should be the ones to apologize to black coffee drinkers and to think about their oat milk privilege 24 hours a day.
Happy to be the only coffee that can wake up President Biden in the mornings.
We're proud to have 843 varieties of coffee, one for each gender.
Try all of our tolerant roasts, like the Cuomo is Innocent Italian blend,
Pelosi's Progressive Pour-Over Dark Roast.
Please Censor Me Morning Blend,
Decaffeinate the Police Light Roast,
and the I'm Sorry for Calling Taiwan a Country Medium Roast.
Our non-binary brewing methods will trigger your outrage over things that have nothing to do with you. Roasted to perfection, just like a federal courthouse in Portland.
Order a bag of Tolerant coffee today, and we'll give you a free caffeination card, which will soon be mandatory in order to enter our stores.
That's right. We aggressively believe you shouldn't be able to participate in society unless you have proof of caffeination.
We get all of our coffee beans sourced straight from Venezuela and Cuba. We heard there's some other stuff going on there, but we just love their beans.
Get on our socialism subscription service. At the beginning of the month, we'll send you enough premium beans for 1 cup of coffee. And then you get to reuse those same grounds for the rest of the month. We call it demi-caffeinated socialism. It's different.
We're the inclusive progressive coffee roasters of tolerance.
We know you have a choice when it comes to getting caffeinated or not.
And we look forward to making that choice for you.
I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Blue Block.
Funny.
He is
What
hilarious.
I was saying before, what I was saying before my phone got all messed up. I don't know if it was that one. I thought it was that one when JFK. When he was targeting the guy, he said that he mentioned Jacqueline Kennedy was alive, and he almost got teary-eyed. He had to stop for a minute, and then he said it.
Yeah. Yeah. This
Whoever
is the
did-
GoFundMe. I dropped in private chat. If you want to share it around,
Go refund for who?
Tabitha Shelton. She got her businesses got destroyed, and they won't help her. So.
How they get destroyed?
Let me see.
Flash flooding.
Flash flood.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh.
I'm gonna make a GoFundMe because I was just to not help with the infrastructure aid because we didn't have a building because it burnt to ash. So once I get it up and running, can you please share it? So, because our building burned to the ground.
Insurance wouldn't pay for it.
No.
So you pay all that money off insurance and they don't pay for it.
No, they pay for things, they're selective. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think most insurance companies are actually in the
It was an
business
hour.
of giving
It
you
was-
what you pay for.
It wasn't.
Hey, Dawn, I didn't know you were here.
It was an hour and 38 minutes. So yeah.
Hey, Dawn, I didn't know you were here. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. I got church tomorrow.
Yeah, the link.
Have fun.
Frank's speech.
Who?
Susan Yardsky said, check out the lawyer on Frank's speech symposium day 2. David Clemens did the same at 58-second mark. Yeah. I'll check that out.
The thing the one thing I wanted you to do, Angel, was find that speed.
Hey, Giggles. Love you, Giggles.
Hey,
Guess what I
Giggles.
did? Guess what I did, y'all?
Uh-oh.
No, I went on prepping 101s and cockle-doodle-doo earlier.
You did?
I was in chat. I heard that. I was laughing my ass off.
All right.
Well, they were talking about chickens, and he made a chicken cake for one of his little nephews or whatever. It was a birthday party.
Yeah.
And someone dared me. Anyway, it was funny. Let me see. Oh, a shofar.
Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Going so late, I blow it.
Make sure you do it in the morning. Blow it.
Yeah.
That's
Gitmo does
cool.
not like it.
Oh, he don't like it.
No, he goes nuts.
He's quite vocal about his dislike.
Hello, everybody in chat. So I called AT&T today, and they ran a test on my internet stuff, And they found something, she said, but she's going to send a tech out on Tuesday to fix my internet. So hopefully, fingers crossed.
Let
Do
me
it.
check. I've never used a GoFundMe. I'm gonna check it out. Click on that link that I sent you. And let's see
The
what.
internet takes, but Facebook takes a lot of it. So much
Oh,
percentage.
wow.
Yeah,
The,
there's like
oh, that
PayPal's and
looks
GoFundMe's,
very
and
nice.
depending on what you use, they take a certain percentage of it and only give you
That's
whatever.
awesome. My
So they're
family
going to
and
come in.
it says my family and I have been completely devastated from the telegraph and the Mescal fire flash flooding. I'm fundraising due to the fact we have only had no help from a city, county, or state organizations. These funds will be used for cleanup, rebuild, and living as we've been homeless since 2 fires merged onto the property that turned everything to ash, and flash flooding has done road and trail damage. My family and I would be grateful for your help. We've been abandoned by all other avenues.
Do you know these people?
Yes, Tab
Oh, okay.
in our group.
Oh, okay.
And it shows the pictures of the property and their cars and everything that's been burnt to ash.
I hope
Oh,
they
dear Lord,
got that on.
heaven.
I hope they got that on other channels too.
I don't like,
That's in Arizona. She's in Arizona, so
Oh, no.
Oh, Dangerous Freedom is in Arizona.
so if you can share out her link and everything, I dropped it in private chat. So yeah, I know some patriots that have had a problem with the GoFundMe locking their account.
Yeah.
They couldn't get the money, so just be careful of that one.
Oh, Johnny Angel's in here.
Yeah,
Oh,
Johnny.
yeah. Johnny Angel.
Johnny.
Why do we all want to go just sing every time we see his name? We all want to sing that song.
I know.
Like we should get together one day and try to sync it up. And when we see him, like 1, 2, 3, go.
It's the indoctrination.
Yeah.
You just see that name and it pops into the song.
Well, the reason why I did that on 101 is because the other morning I woke up at 6, or I woke up early. I wake up early every morning. And Trusting God First was online on here. So I said, I will go on his live, and I had a little chicken, and I went on his, and I said, cockle-doo-doo. Anyway, because it was so early in the morning. It was fun. Yeah, that's a good one.
It was so cute seeing the smile on Prepping 101's face when you did your cock-a-doodle-doo. I was watching and I was in the chat, and he had the biggest smile. He just laughed.
Hello. I had to do it. And then he made that chicken cake for his.
Well, now he's a part of the club.
Exactly. So let's see what the Real Weekend Warrior is posted. He's got a new one. Let's see if it's gonna play. Sometimes they play, sometimes they don't.
Silver Girl, how you doing, honey?
Hey, Warrior Nation.
Better than
How y'all doing?
Yeah, let's see what he's playing. Oh, he's playing a meme.
Vicky, what time's church?
If I get up and go to service, it's at 9. If I don't, I have to be there by 10:30.
Oh.
Yeah, I heard they were pulling kids out of school for not wearing a mask. That's someone passing out after getting the jab. So.
Hey, Mama Liam.
Oh, hell no.
Oh yeah, they were giving them the Jabberwocky too.
Mm-hmm.
I got
heard in India they're dropping dead. So, there she's dropping. I wouldn't be sitting there waiting for one. For dropping.
Heck no. When I see somebody falling, guess what? I'm not gonna get
my dad went to rave. I remember my dad did he's always been honest with me about all the drugs he ever did. But he went to a rave. He was 60-something years old. He's standing there at a rave, and And this 16-year-old girl takes this because he'd never done ecstasy before, and he's like, I want to try it. So he goes to this rave just to get a piece, an ecstasy pill. He said this 16-year-old girl, like 4 people in front of him, took one and dropped dead right in front of him. He was like, nope. And he turned around and he went home.
Oh, Lord.
He was like, I'm not taking it, So,
Well, I wouldn't be in line in the first place, but if I was in line and I did that, I'd be like, nope.
oh my God.
No, see.
I don't like it when you say that.
Oh my God, what's up with the blood? Was
Oh
that
my
real?
God.
Is one real with the blood?
Yeah. This is videos he had. Well, I'm not playing the sound, but
Don't. Ooh, I'm here screaming.
Oh, I hate that one where the thingy moves.
I know.
Well.
Look at
Like,
the skin.
be smacking it with a freaking hammer.
My friend who's incarcerated said that they basically tricked them all into getting it. Now they're sticking magnets on their arms.
You're doing what?
They were all pretty much tricked into taking the Jabberwocky, and he said now all the inmates are sticking magnets to their arms and they're all sticking.
I was watching this one video where this guy
They're in
looked like he was
lockdown
in a
again.
hospital setting and got the Jabberwocky. And his friend came in and they were all laughing. And his friend put the cell phone up to where he got the jab at, and his registration number came up on his phone. And they're all laughing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He said that they're in lockdown again because even though they've all been Jabberwockied, they now have. There's now C to the V going around the prison.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's their story.
All the people that have had the Jabberwocky are now testing positive. So
Yeah, maybe all those tests they give them, they're already testing positive because that's how they were made.
yeah,
They just shipped them out in great big boxes.
yep.
Shove them up your nose or up your derriere, and it's going to come out positive no matter where you stick it.
Well.
Yeah. They said that even though, because they told them they wanted, they after the first shutdown, they said if you want to return to normal, you have to get the Jabberwocky. So, and if you don't get the Jabberwocky, you have to wear a face diaper, and you have to get tested constantly. So they were just like, well, let's just go ahead and get the Jabberwocky, and so things can go back to normal. He said, well, now they still have to get the only thing they don't have to do now is that they don't have to quarantine. He said, but they still have to wear the mask, and they still have to get tested a bunch. They just don't get quarantined when they go from one area to the other. And they can be around somewhat.
Did anybody watch Liberty Warrior today?
I was at work.
No, I can't watch them. I don't know why.
Pray for me. I got to babysit 4 kids tomorrow.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
you're gonna be worn slept the hell out.
Yeah.
I used to babysit my neighbor, and she asked me to play Barbies one time, and I really wasn't into that. And she goes, "Will you play with me?" I said, "I'm allergic to Barbies." Get out of it. That was bad.
Okay, I gotta give a shout out to my sister Tammy, who took the Jabberwocky, and she just texted me on my phone. She says she's healthy as a horse. Love you, girl.
It's not what it's what's in it.
Well, it's for later too, when her immune system's not good when she's around other sick people.
Is that just the first one she took?
No, she took both of the Pfizr.
Pfizer.
Yeah.
Pfizer?
Well, I didn't want to say it, but
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Pfizer.
The Fizzers. Yeah, she took the Fizzers.
Okay.
But she's okay. I seen her. She's looked fine. She came up and visited me. She lives around Angel's neck of the woods.
Oh, I like that. That was nice.
Now, does she got to get a third one?
I don't know. Hey, Tammy, you got to get a third one? But she'll text me back. She's listening.
Well, we went to get Rebecca a haircut today, and the little hairdresser she knew about the MRA and the vaccine. I mean, Jabberwocky.
She says, she texted me back. She says, no, she doesn't have to get the booster.
Okay, good.
Yeah, good.
Anyway, Rebecca got a haircut today, and the little girl,
Hey, girl.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, okay.
Rebecca got a haircut today, and I was really surprised that the young girl cut her hair and knew all about what the DNA and the MRA. She knew all about it.
She's done her own research. That's good.
Is that one on top, Dolly Parton?
What?
That one that's third from the left. First row. With the mask on.
Yeah,
That
Yeah.
looks like her.
that's her.
I got my something together for the kids.
I can't take it. I have CFS.
Like common fucking sense.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah. That's when I'd be like, shut the doors, locking them.
I was those magazines at the cash registers at the store.
Yeah.
Well, there was one there with Jennifer Aniston. It didn't look like her. It did not look like her.
She's a dude.
She's a dude.
She's a dude.
Yeah, she's a dude.
Jennifer Aniston?
Yeah. Why do they?
Yeah.
She was married like 4 times and never had any children.
Right.
Is anybody not?
If it's a boy, if it looks like a boy, it was born a girl. If it looks like a girl, it was born a boy. That's
Like
how
that.
most people operate. So pretty much,
I mean, Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood.
Hollywood is effed up. I'm sorry.
You can't be, you couldn't be famous unless, you were into the Baffity Boo.
Hey, Believing in SC said, did any of y'all notice that Potato Head met with the fallen soldiers people or not?
Oh, God. They probably pissed off as hell. There's one lady. Did you hear that one lady? Mother of one of them today? Oh, my gosh. She was upset. I can't.
We're all upset. The veterans are really, really upset.
Yeah, my Marine friend is fit to be tied. He's about ready to just hop on a plane and go.
Well, she knows she's upset. Her child just
Let
died.
us go. I would be there tomorrow. I was like, okay.
Does anyone actually think that Heels Up Harris or Potato Head is going to show up at when these airplanes arrive with flag draped coffins?
No.
Nope. Trump would.
Yeah, he would. If he couldn't, he'd send tons.
If Trump could, he'd send his airplane over and pick all them people up.
Oh, speaking of which,
What?
No.
Twin
Beck.
Yeah. I know what you're going to say. Go ahead.
You go for
it. He raised like millions of dollars and he was going to send his own private jet over there to help get our people out.
Yeah.
And then there was also Operation Pineapple. There was a bunch of retired veterans who got together by themselves and they went over there and
Pineapple
Pine-
Express.
Yes, that was it. Operation Pineapple Express. They went in there and they went in, I mean, through the sewers. They did what they had to do and using GPS and something else. And they were able to get the people who helped them when they were over there and got them out.
Yeah.
Now our Justice Department is threatening to arrest them.
And not only arrest them if they come back into the country, but
Yeah.
they're going to sue them and fine them all this money.
Man, this movie's crazy.
They're going to arrest these people for going and doing the job that the other people should have done.
Right.
And everybody's just gonna piss people off and wake their eyes up.
I also just put a link in of Jeannie Taylor, who was the widow of a previous Afghanistan guy, and he ended up being secretary something or other in for a while. And she talked today, and she did it right on the day.
She what?
Yeah.
What was the last part?
She hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
An excellent, not emotional. I mean, it was emotional, but it wasn't boo-hoo crying all over the place emotional. But it was good. And it's short.
Who is it?
The last one in private chat.
Yeah. I'll play it after in a while.
Jenny Taylor with a Brent Taylor speaks out. Oh.
Wrong thing.
Oh, good Lord.
I quit for the night.
Who?
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Whoa.
Not getting it. There's no way.
Oh, I wonder why. Yeah, I wonder
Oh,
why.
look at that.
Look at that. Isn't that weird that it would happen that way?
Yeah.
It's mandatory.
Well, there's a lady from the CDC that said, their intel from Israel, they're like 80% all Jabberwockied up, and now they have increasing variants and people massively in the hospitals sick again.
Oh, good grief.
Yep.
Can we all say mass depopulation?
And Japan has stopped 2 of them.
There's
And
signs all over saying "Do your duty and get Jabberwocky." All over the place. Walmart's playing a constant loop on their audio. Get your COVID vaccine. All that crap.
Oh, I have one small intel of good news. The
What?
country of Denmark, over there up where like the Vikings came from, they said, what? Their government said, we're not mandating jack. You don't need passports. You don't need a Jabberwocky. You don't need nothing. Just live your life.
Yeah.
So, like, if we're importing everybody over there, I don't want to leave my country. My people have been here since before this was a country. But if push comes to shove, look me up in Denmark.
Yeah. Skull. I met some people from the Netherlands. They were like Vikings. They're like 7 feet tall. I asked them what their toast was, and they said skull. And I was like, they said, if you really want to get it some extra oomph, they say skull papa, which means to skull for fuck's sake. To pride for fuck's sake. That's what it means. To pride.
And I'm descendants from them.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other stuff too. It's kind of crazy, like from really, literally all over the freaking place.
The girl, the keyboardist, apparently they were banned from from Norway that played with my ex-boyfriend's band. Because anytime you over there, if you can go to America and travel, even if it's the smallest tour, it gives you like some incredible status to Norway. So
the only thing I know about the Viking countries is that you can't find Holland on a map.
So the keyboardist, she wasn't my height. They called her a midget because she was like 5'2". But the rest of them were like 7'5". I mean, they were They look like Vikings, literally. You know. So
Be
and
like,
they only
dude, I will take out your kneecaps.
they will only drink top shelf. They don't drink anything lower than top shelf liquors. You know. They have very high taste in liquor.
Well, if I passed out, I'm pretty sure one of them could like pick me up and make sure I was all right.
Yeah, but they were very nice. I mean, really nice people. So
Well, you know, when President Trump's when his Secret Service was like 7 feet tall.
yeah,
His youngest son is almost that height, and he's like 15, 16 maybe years old.
15.
Yeah, the youngest one.
Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if I could say his name or not, but yeah, I mean, he's going to be the tallest one out of all of them.
yeah.
He almost already might be now, you know, and
Not even done growing yet.
yes, I was going to say that. Boys, I mean, they can sprout out when they're 18 and just
They
shoot
can
up.
guys can grow all the way up to 22 years of age.
I think he's like 6'8".
He's yeah. It'd be like it give you whiplash to try to look him in the eyes and say good morning.
Man, I had second cousins on my mother's side that they grew so fast. They were 7 feet tall that they grew so fast that they couldn't play sports because their bones were too brittle. They grew too fast.
Yeah.
Believe it or
Speaking
not,
of
what are you talking about? What happened with Mama?
They get real gangly.
Speaking of six tall people, I heard yesterday that Rick
What's
Romney's
up with Mama?
I'm not sure.
Hold on, let me read back. I didn't see no pics of him on the believe
no.
because of the 13, the family. One of the 13 was a family member.
Well, I thought I was trying to find it, but I couldn't understand what it was saying.
Hey, baby girl, I love you. My sister's in chat.
My
yes, I
understanding
remember.
is that there was some talk about a potato going to meet the bodies, and there was uproar about the fact that at least one family did not want him there. But that is, I've heard it, but I've not verified that.
Doesn't surprise me.
But it would be what I would respond. Get him here and let him have fun might be the next word.
I'd ask for Trump.
Yeah, I would too.
Be like, get
How do you
Trump.
know that they? How do you know that it might?
How fast can I read?
I mean, I'm sorry, but Trump is just all that in a bag of chips in my book. Anybody, there's nothing more beautiful than a patriotic man.
Right.
Well, that
Mama.
rally he had in Alabama, there was 60,000 people there.
A guy,
And so if he's just a nothing, then why were there 60,000 people there when Biden couldn't pull 13 people together? Yeah, but supposedly 80 million people voted for him. I don't think so.
Yes, Mama. I'll be praying too, Mama Liam. For some,
Pray for
somebody.
Ohio. Apparently, he's sick too. So let's keep Ohio in your prayers.
Let's keep everybody down in Louisiana in our prayers.
Yeah.
We got Craig the Hunter down there. He's staying in and he's prepping up. So let's keep
is your-
just all of our brothers and sisters down there in prayer.
How's your brother and them down in Louisiana, Angel?
They're
Are they
holding it out.
Mississippi?
Mississippi. They're holding it out.
yeah, my friend that just moved from San Diego to Mississippi, I said, welcome to the house.
It's kind of going the same.
They don't have that much here. I said,
Doesn't look like it.
go back and read a few papers.
Doesn't look like it's going the same path as Katrina.
Yeah.
Almost tomorrow is the anniversary of Katrina.
Yep.
Yeah.
What is it, like a 16-year anniversary, I think?
And
Yeah.
the same people
I was
that
pregnant with my daughter when that came through. I was like 8 months pregnant. Or I just had her. It was right in that time frame. I want to say I was still pregnant with her and all that came through, and I'm thinking, oh my God.
and the same people that make the Katrina also made this one.
Yeah, I mean, they're directing this stuff on purpose.
Yeah.
Why can't they direct it towards our southern border where all these illegal people are coming through and just have a, I mean, not that I wish any bad or curse anybody coming through, but, you know, I'm sure they have their reasons, but why can't it just blow through there?
Right.
At least hold them back for a couple of weeks.
There's some innocent kids though.
I know.
They've already went through a lot, most likely.
The ones we really want are the ones that are dispersed all over the country.
But at this point, we got them coming over the southern border, and now our military is airlifting a bunch of poppies over from the sandbox and holding them in military bases, and they're all of, you know, I can kick your ass age, and just turning them loose in cities. You know that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, Wisconsin just got a whole bunch of them.
Good Lord in heaven, help us all.
What did they want Wisconsin? They just want some cheese.
It's the cheese curds. They're after the cheese curds.
I hope they think.
Cheese curds are good though.
I'm glad they think that the best cheese in the U.S. is in Wisconsin, because I wouldn't want them to know it's actually in Vermont.
Maybe they just want to buy tickets to the NFL football games. Wouldn't that be nice?
I heard some.
Yeah.
I did hear that someone
maybe
wouldn't
they'll
Vermont.
like adapt and you know and you know just blend in. Poof, I blend. I doubt it.
Silver Girl.
Yeah.
I did hear that some of them were in Vermont.
Oh, don't tell me that. But it was. After all, Bernie is in Vermont.
Well, certain states are sanctuary states, like Massachusetts is one, and they've been that way for years.
Unless Vermont has turned over that leaf that I'm unaware of, they weren't.
And they might have been. I might be.
You know, Bernie.
Well, Bernie's got 4 houses, probably in 4 different states. Every time he runs for election and he drops out, he gets a brand new house.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong. That's what I thought I heard. Hey, I got to tell y'all something.
Over the past.
Yeah.
Mitt Romney's nephew is 6, 8, something. He's young. He's in high school, and he was playing basketball, and he collapsed, and he's in the hospital, very serious condition.
Who is that?
Okay, Mitt Romney's nephew.
Oh. He's probably wearing a mask while he's playing basketball.
I think he couldn't breathe, and he was in the hospital.
I bet he also got the Jabberwocky.
Yep. Mitt Romney's not a good dude.
No, he's not.
But I don't wish that on anybody.
No, I mean, no, none of us do. But it's all free choice, you know.
All right.
It's like the T-Man said, you can take it or you can not take it. It's your choice. All we could do at this point is pray against it and hope some of these things were swapped out for placebos.
Yeah.
You know. You gonna play something, Angel?
Yeah, she's doing something. She's not not visible.
Huh?
I said you're not visible.
I was getting something to drink.
Hey y'all, that river that what's his name? You know, These went on? Wasn't
Yeah.
that the most beautiful river?
It
Yeah,
was.
it was gorgeous. I am
Look
going to
at-
stop down, Angel, and then come back, okay?
All right. I'm going to share this video.
Uh-oh. What was I saying?
Yeah.
Last few weeks, I know that many Americans have felt profound sorrow and even pain watching taking place in Afghanistan, and perhaps none more so than the veterans of that 20-year war. Every American who served in Afghanistan has made tremendous sacrifices for our country. On behalf of your fellow citizens, I want you to know that those sacrifices were not made in vain. We know what you did. We know how brave you were. And we thank you. We salute you. And we honor you for all time.
Oh, I love him.
Notice the blue tie?
United States, Donald J. Trump, describing the emotions many Americans are feeling watching the devastation in Kabul unfold after 20 years of war and sacrifice. In service of this war, we welcomed home more than 20,000 wounded warriors from the sands of Afghanistan. We have buried more than 2,400 American patriots, and this week we added 13 more of the best and brightest America had to offer to the list of heroes who perished far too soon in service to this nation in the name of this 20-year conflict. Our next guest knows the pain of that loss and the gravity of that sacrifice all too well. Jenny Taylor's husband, Major Brent Taylor, was killed in the country on November 3rd of 2018. She later became a civilian aide to the Secretary of the Army, and she joins us now. Thank you so much for joining us. Obviously, again, you remain in our hearts and our prayers. Your husband, Major Brent Taylor, was part of the U.S. Army unit training Afghan commandos when an insider attack claimed his life, injured another American soldier. Take us through that day, how you heard, and how you and so many other families have had to cope with tragic days like that.
Yeah, you know, there's nothing like getting a knock on the door when you have a loved one deployed in uniform. And everyone, whether you're in the military or not, you've seen a movie, you know they don't knock on the door on a Saturday just to say hi. It was first thing that morning, Saturday, November 3rd. I actually was not home. My children were home with their grandmother, my mother. My 8-year-old son answered the door, wondering why in the world these soldiers were standing in uniform. The officers then called me, but of course protocol requires them to find me face to face. So there was about an hour between the time I got the phone call saying we needed to do something and when we met face to face, and they told me the thing that no military spouse or family member ever wants to hear. And that's that my husband had been killed that morning. And you just think in that moment, it feels as if the world has stopped turning. You feel as the devastation, the crushing blow. How will I tell my children this? And now I think this week we've lost 13 in a moment. The one death of my husband that day felt like too much to bear. My heart is aching for these new families, the friends, the loved ones, the high school buddies of each of these men and women killed this week. It is heartbreaking. It truly is.
It's really ultimately just so shocking. I mean, you talk about your husband who was there in Afghanistan helping to train those individuals to ensure that days like the ones we had this week didn't happen. Talk to us a little bit about how you see this as a widow, a family that's made that sacrifice, and also, again, just the unseen issues that other families have to deal with, because to your point, even in your particular story, just knowing that something clearly was not right, and also the time that went between you actually being able to receive that devastating news, I think it's a story that many people just don't fully appreciate.
You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I've often said it's like I have a backstage pass to what the price of freedom really costs in this country. Most people have seen a movie, or maybe they've heard of what Dover Air Base is. I've been there in the middle of the night with my 2 young sons and my in-laws, watching a flag draped casket cross from an aircraft carrier to a military hearse. There are not words to describe that anguish. But at the same time, I will tell you, my husband died proud to serve this country, proud to stand up for the men and women in Afghanistan, for freedom, liberty, and justice for all around the world. And I would die right next to his side every day for those principles if I had to. I will tell you, you will never convince me that my husband and the others who have given their lives have done so in vain. But I do worry that everything that's happening right now is making their sacrifice feel lost. Again, there's a very big difference. It's not at all a waste. It's not in vain. But are we losing sight of it? Are we losing sight of those great sacrifices? I would say that for us, the living, those who have survived this, we have got to decide how we are going to make sure their sacrifices are worth it. We have to make sure we're doing our part to remember them, to honor them, and to live the kind of lives that would bring honor to them. But it is truly devastating to see the way things have unfolded over the last couple of weeks. I feel like each day it feels as horrible as it could possibly be. And then the next headline comes and it feels even worse.
I think you've hit the nail spot on the head that people have lost perspective of the true cost of their peaceful night of sleep. And it's really, astounding to see what we choose to do with our rage and our grief. I know to you, your testimony, what you were able to do in the aftermath of that, serving as Secretary of the Army, getting insight into the bureaucracy that goes behind the human sacrifice and the human commitment required to keep Americans safe. If there's anything you had to say to Americans who feel as if they've been inundated with this notion that we should have left so long ago, that everything was a waste, in the aftermath of an Olympics where we've seen people almost ashamed to be an American, in the aftermath of a nation that was always proud to be an American, proud to be the beacon of freedom that was revered around the world. What do you have to say at this juncture where we are today?
I will say we cannot afford to let that pride die, to let not just the pride in being American, but pride in freedom, pride in liberty, pride in that justice for all. We have to stand up. We have to come together as a country. We've got to open our eyes. Everything that's happened over the last couple of weeks is tragic, and it has grabbed our attentions and hit us in the gut and broken our hearts. But do you know what? Men and women go to war every day around this world, whether they're in a combat zone or just keeping peace wherever they might be. Every one of them, when they put that uniform on in the morning, they are saying without words, I will die for you today. They say that every day they go to work. The question for us now is, will we live to honor them today? It is so easy to just worry about politics or to worry about the things we get so caught up in as American citizens. We have no idea how good we have it. We are not a perfect country. I get that. None of us are perfect people, but we strive every day to be a more perfect union, to take those principles and share them around the world. You find me another country that does that. We have men and women in our country who are willing to die trying to share those principles. And there are men and women around the world who are willing to die trying to come here. If that doesn't make you proud of the American principles and that way of life, then I would say we need to stop pointing fingers outward and start answering pointed questions of ourselves. What's our role in paying the price of freedom? And if you think that price is too high, ask yourself, what would happen if that price were not to be paid?
Absolutely. Again, there is a price that we pay. Just because somebody doesn't send you the bill doesn't mean that it's free. There are people every single day who've paid that price on your behalf, your family being one of them. Jenny Taylor, we appreciate you. God bless you. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you for including me in this conversation.
Absolutely. Again, we appreciate Jenny for joining us.
Hi, Emma Reckenberg here. If you like this video, there's a whole lot more to see on Newsnext TV. You can watch for free right.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's gotta be devastating to be a wife or a husband of somebody who's serving, and you see those two soldiers walking up to your house. You don't even have to open up the door, and you know why they're there. And something I think some people don't realize is how hard it is for those two people who are service members to walk up to their door and give the person, that devastating news.
Yeah.
Yes.
There'd be no way I could give a speech that eloquent, knowing that my daughter, my husband, whoever, was over there, and I just what I'd have to say probably wouldn't be able to be broadcast on air.
There's a documentary that someone put together about the people that go to the door, and it's a beautiful story. And it was,
Yeah, it is.
That's got to be the hardest job. Like, you got to be the strongest soldier ever to want to have that job.
yeah.
Right.
Gotta be compassionate.
Right. Compassionate.
There's normally someone who has a very, very, very strong relationship with God that takes those jobs. Almost have to have. They're even trained.
Did I tell you about my sisters?
That they would have. Somebody might have this. They were Jewish. That would be different than the norm. I don't know if Jewish is true, but you know what I'm trying to get at. That somebody might react totally different. Somebody might be offended if the soldier reaches out and grabs them. Somebody might want you to, they're trained those kinds of things as well. So that it's just, and it's as much of an honor as to stand at the end of the soldier.
Yeah.
By the way, the very, very end of that video will bring tears to your eyes. It's music and pictures. And
You're hard to hear. You're cutting way out.
I don't know why.
It probably switched back to your old mic again.
I don't think so. I disconnected that sucker. Is that any better?
So.
How about that?
That's better.
Okay.
Yeah, that's better.
I moved it. Sorry.
Did I tell y'all about my sister's husband?
Don't think so.
Well, he had the PSP, whatever it is. How you say it?
PTSD.
We know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay, so when all this went down a couple of days ago out over there, so he served over there. Well, he went into that mode. He had to go to the hospital because he was having a bad, reaction. Anyway, my sister said that the hospital, the VA hospital, was full of the same thing. People, the vets that have served are all in there for the same thing.
Oh yeah, I've got what's called complex PTSD, and it's different in that it's over a very long period of time than it's as a child.
They're in there for PTSD because what happened in Afghanistan?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
This
that's
is
so hard.
I knew that there were people having PTSD attacks because there's no way somebody who has PTSD in the service could have gone through this without having an attack, because I know what brings them on, and this would have just.
This remember Chris Kyle? He's the American Sniper.
Oh yeah.
This was his funeral, the 200-mile tribute to him. There's a.
Looking back, the days we shared, for a moment, all the world was mine. Could I ever know that you'd ever say goodbye? And now I'm glad I didn't know where it all would end, where it all would go. I better left to think I could have missed the pain that I'd had Holding you, I feel everything. For a moment, tonight. If I'd only known how the pain would fall, and who know I might stay on. Tonight, I'm glad I didn't know. Wait all the wait all the our lives are better left to change. I could have missed the pain that I had. It's my life, it's better left to change. I could have missed the pain that I had to
That's American Pride.
Oh my God, that is so sad.
I hate that song.
Oh,
Not really, but you know, it always, everything that they've ever done almost, I mean, anybody big, Earnhardt, they did it with Earnhardt, they did a lot with Earnhardt, all the tribute shows and all that. It was, I mean, I hear that song and he's the only thing I can think of.
Man, y'all made my eyes water.
That was so sad.
Yeah, I got misty too until I got.
I wasn't crying. My eyes were just watering themselves.
They were leaking.
Yeah,
Here's another one for you. One
No, I was crying.
Trying to make us cry tonight.
Yes, I am.
This is sad.
Shame on you. I'm old.
There we go. Look at this. This is a beautiful scene right here, though.
These guys were so young.
This is the most beautiful thing, a tribute you can get as a seal from other seals.
I like that the other cars stopped too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. This is how we do. This is America.
Right there. They put the trident on there. That's their
That looked like such an old video.
Still relevant.
That chokes me up. It does. It does.
Yeah.
No.
I wonder if it's going to come back.
What?
that kind of
patriotism.
Yeah.
Yeah, after we get gut punched again, it'll come back. We got one more coming.
If you have never seen that movie, it's a good movie, American Sniper. I have the book right here too.
I was trying to think of the name of the movie or whatever that was about him. I saw it once. And it was so, like, believing in South Carolina, I saw your comment. It was so sad by a soldier he was trying to help that had PTSD. And that dude is the one that, ended his life. Somebody he was trying to help.
Right.
The good Lord Almighty.
There you go.
So everybody take a deep breath in through your nose
Yep.
and exhale out through your mouth.
Sniper.
That's it.
That's the book. So it's good. I also read The Lone Survivor. Oh my God. That one, I was crying.
I wonder if he out there dancing his heart out.
Have you seen The Lone Survivor with Mark Wahlberg?
No.
I don't think I have either, but maybe, I don't know.
I haven't been out to a movie theater, to be honest, since like maybe Endgames came out, the Avengers movie, and I think that was the last movie I went out to see.
Before COVID.
My boyfriend's a big gamer and he got me sort of drowned into the Marvel stuff, and so
Too bad they're not all.
he'd take
too
me
bad
out to the movies when they come out, so I could get out of the house. So,
Well, too bad they're all part of the cabal.
Yeah, I know. A couple of them made it out, but most of them are gone.
Angel, check out the comment I just put in private chat. Have you seen that?
Like Deadpool is okay. Chris Pratt, he made it out, and there was another one that made it out. I can't remember his name.
I just wanted to make sure you saw that.
I thought somebody said that.
Of who?
Her.
She didn't see no picture of who.
Her.
Who's her?
Mama Leon.
Oh.
Mama Leon?
I didn't want to do it that way.
Didn't you want to say?
Trying to be polite.
I don't know.
Don't you want to say, Mama?
I don't know what she's talking about. No. So.
What's the next attack? Believing in SE. The next attack. What?
Mama Williams had a family member is one of the 13.
Oh.
I was trying to be courteous.
I didn't know what.
Yeah, they said that a while back.
We're sorry, Mama Leon. I was trying to be respectful.
Yeah.
Well, now we know who specifically to pray for.
Yes.
What does the believing say the next attack expected in 24
That's
to
what I was
36
asking.
hours?
There's so many dates supposedly coming up that it's like just wake up in the morning and turn on whatever you go to and just pray to God before you start listening. What the hell happened since I've been asleep?
Biden started saying that there was going to be another attack in Afghanistan almost immediately after the last one.
Yeah, he said within the next, it was earlier today or last night, within the next 24 to 36 hours. Expect it to happen.
Well, if you've ever listened to anything that has ever happened in war, you don't expect one attack. You expect more than one.
I also saw today that I don't know if it was the Taliban or whoever, but they're declaring a jihad civil war, which means that the ISIS-K and the Taliban are going to fight each other.
I'm going to show this preview. This ties in with it.
Well, good.
Yeah, let them kill each other. I mean, I don't mean to say that. I don't want anything
Well,
like
I know
that
what
to
you mean,
happen, but,
Mr. Patton, please. Come on. Been around the world twice.
talk to everyone once. There ain't nothing I can't do, no sky can't shoot up. But a lot of lessons in my life. Never shoot a large caliber man with a small caliber bullet. Anything in life worth doing is what we're doing. Moderation's for cowards. I'm a lover, I'm a fighter, I'm a UD team. Listen up, Red Wings to go tonight, 1800.
Operation Red Wing was a plan through an area of northern Afghanistan to clean out terror. Going into the myself, Marcus. The primary objective was just to find this Taliban leader, but they got there and many things started going wrong.
The job is compromised. The way I see it, we got two options. One, let them go, roll the dice. The second that they run down there, we got 200 on our backs. Two, we terminate the compromise. We cannot do that out here. I care about you. I care about you. I care about you.
It was the dilemma that these guys were faced with. There really was no easy answer.
This is not a vote. We're going to cut them loose and we're going home. Did that, sir?
Yes.
I'm fixing to get into a pretty good gunfight.
The actors knew they had a responsibility to capture that warrior spirit that these men.
I fall. Chest came up over my hips and I started flipping. The sun came up. I had had enough. And I was just like, I'll just engage till they kill me.
Marcus has dedicated his life since this happened to telling the story to as many people as he can.
That's about right. And then I went this way. When I started doing speaking tours, that was to keep the memory of my teammates alive.
He believes the reason he survived is to make sure people remember who these guys were. He was going to make sure I understood what happened on that mountain. What is the common denominator? Make someone willing to stick it out.
What it all boils down to is the willingness to give your life to make it through something, and the others won't.
And I asked some of the SEALs, do you get scared? And they said, our greatest fear is not being there for each other. That's all they care about.
When we come up on the guns and start firing, I'm not firing my weapon to protect myself. I'm firing my weapon to protect you. We surround each other, protect each other, look out for each other, and that's when you know you're going to make it.
Go, go, go!
Marcus, move!
I will have your back. I will be there for you. I will do everything I can, including give my life for you.
We're good, right? What's up?
No matter how many times I got up and told that story or how many people read that book, it's nothing compared to how many people will watch that film. So my job is done. Mission complete.
Ew, that looks good.
Was that movie about that other guy that we saw the other day?
Marcus Luttrell. Yep, he's a Navy
Yeah.
SEAL. Navy SEAL. He's a lone survivor.
Mama Lim says that he was born on 9/11 too.
Yeah, and when he got home, someone killed his. He has a organization that helps people with PTSD through animals. And
Oh, that's cool.
when he got home, someone killed his PTSD animal. People are just heartless. So.
Yeah.
Like I've been through enough. I mean, I read his book and I was in tears. I mean, it just gets you. It just gets you right.
Yeah.
It's just,
I wanna
like,
see
it's
that.
so good. So good. I highly recommend that.
Can we
What is
listen
it?
to Tom? Can we listen to Tom McDonald's new song, "Dummies"?
Yeah, you want to watch it?
Yeah.
All right.
Who is it?
Tom McDonald.
Oh, no.
Tom McDonald.
Tom McDonald.
Tom McDonald.
Oh, I heard of. Oh, yeah, I've heard of him. I like him.
He's got a new song. came out.
I
on
wish I
Friday.
could sing his songs, but I can't talk that fast.
Nobody can. So. Here we go. It's called Dummies.
I love the earth, but I don't really want to save it. Everything is homophobic or it's racist. When life gives us lemons, we're supposed to want to change it. But my generation rather take some pills than escape it. Say that I'm transphobic if you want to, but one day I'll be a father. And I really hope my son don't grow up to be my daughter. I ain't trying to hurt your feelings, skin should be a little thicker. That's the problem, being honest, got them triggered. The kids are getting weaker because they're sheltered by society. Pumpkin spice Ativan for seasonal anxiety. Wokeness has become a way to bully non-violently and cancel everyone without improving on the life we lead. Without the white, there's no black. Without the straight, there's no gay. Without the men, there's no women. Without the night, there's no day. Without the idiots, we couldn't laugh at them when they fall. So maybe we need them after all. Ain't nobody dumber than y'all. Ain't nobody dumber than y'all. Guess you gotta be wrong. You don't have the guts to the ball. I love the earth, but I don't really want to save it. Everyone's obsessed with making stupid people famous. If a white boy raps, then it's called appropriation. But Beyonce has a hair blonde and people say she slayed it. Everybody's outraged, everybody's mad. Our solutions to the issues don't make no sense. The stairs are the problem, we build wheelchair ramps. We don't cancel feet or persecute the people with legs. The feminists who started the movement would be ashamed of so many things. They fought so you could vote. I show your butthole on OnlyFans. I'm not a bad person because you don't like what I say. Call me homophobic just because I think straight. I love people even though we disagree. I wish we could get Wi-Fi signals from a tree. Then everyone would plant them and we'd probably save the planet for free. Too bad we only need them to breathe. Ain't nobody dumber than y'all. Ain't nobody dumber than y'all. Guess you gotta be wrong. If you don't have the guts to the ball. I love the earth, but I don't really want to save it. Classifying people by their sex and race degrades them, but we still say straight white males are the worst of our population. Guess the labels are okay if they're Caucasian. My kids are living in their rooms, I swear we barely ever see them. Go outside sometime, there's fresh air you could be breathing. Put your phones down, play sports, do something illegal. Go and meet your families, they're probably nice people. These days you're a Nazi. Police. They say that white folks think all Asian people are Chinese. I'm sorry, what kind of white people you mean? English, Scottish, German, Swedish, or Greek? And Black Lives Matter was problematic. It excludes anyone without the pigment. It's automatic. I understand all the reasons it happened, but including all humans is the actual answer. Ain't nobody dumber than y'all. Ain't nobody dumber than y'all. Guess you gotta be wrong. You don't have the guts to the ball. I love
He's a genius.
Who's he talking about?
All the stupid people.
Talking about sheep?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a lot of really good songs.
I like the Snowflake.
Snowflakes.
Yeah, I like
is-
that one.
Was that it? I
Yeah.
think I saw that once, and I'm like, ah.
Have y'all heard? Can I ask y'all something?
Mhm.
Have y'all heard of the candy bar called Milka?
No.
No.
It's kind of like a Hershey bar, but I was here watching it. They're doing a magnet test to it. It's a whole
Yeah.
candy bar. It's got the graphene oxide in it.
Really?
Yeah, it's the magnet sticking to it.
Damn.
I love that candy. I get it. You can get it everywhere, but most of the time it's a foreign candy. But I get it at World Market.
Weird. That's weird.
Oh.
Let's see. Crazy.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
Hey.
I've been sitting here talking with my mic muted.
I-
Captain
Hey, look
Ryan J. McCollum, 29 of Jackson, Wyoming, is Mama Liam's soldier guy.
Ah.
Oh, so who is it, hon? I'm sorry.
Captain Riley J. McCullough.
Oh, yeah. And
He-
how's she related? Okay.
I don't know. I hadn't got that far.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all in chat.
Yeah.
And Mama Liam, I was trying to read that icon too. I got it blown up and did all kinds of crazy things with it, and I couldn't find it. So I'm glad you put it in here.
Oh, he's a cousin.
He's a cousin.
Sorry, Mama Liam.
And me
Yeah.
too, Liam, in case I didn't say it.
This is one of my favorite Tom McDonald songs. Let's see. This one right here.
I'm praying that the world changes soon. Can get a doobie on a plane, but there's Uzis in our schools. Every dude who touched a boob or a booty getting me too. What you expect from the kids who went to Hooters after school? We're all triggered and defensive. We're all racist and we're sexist. We all grew up watching South Park. How are we offended? Now being fat is beautiful. Name a thing that you can't do. Jumping jacks, run a mile, live past 42. Man, it used to be cool to just flip a bird to the system, and now it's trendy to be triggered and pretend you're a victim. It's my race, it's my weight, it's because I'm a Christian. I hate the internet and everyone who has an opinion. And everybody angry if you say white. Okay, fine. Pass me the brush. Face to the shapes right. Let's talk about it. Sorry, tell me how this works. Bacteria is life on Mars, but a heartbeat isn't life on Earth. Weird.
Y'all so stupid. Y'all so stupid. You better run, I swear to God that y'all want them. Y'all so dumb. People so stupid. People so dumb. People so cruel. Wrong. You better issues, we're gonna run out of tissues. It's so dumb.
I'm a hater because I can't relate to gay pride. Call me homophobic because I don't want to date guys. K-type. I for one, I'm not surprised the world is kind along the way. Give trophies to children for losing just because they decide to play. Yes, sometimes I like the vote and hate the politicians. Hey, this is a democracy. It's partly your decision. Hey, this is weird. It feels like this a different year. If I identify as a female, then when my balls and penis disappear, children want a gender switch and hating men is feminist. Depression and anxiety are trending. We're too sensitive. Invented 80s haters. Now the world is not accepting it. Then gave them more attention than normal women and men can get. What a contradiction. Being human is so tragic. Focused on minorities, ignoring all the masses. Hallelujah, everyone. Activism saved the planet. No more plastic straws and paper, just paper straws wrapped in plastic. Congratulations.
Y'all so stupid. Y'all so stupid. You better run, I swear to God that y'all want them. Y'all so dumb. People so stupid. People so dumb. People so cruel. Wrong. You better issues, we're gonna run out of tissues. It's so dumb.
Look, I get it. It's like the world is going crazy. It seems like a school shooting happens almost daily. The racism, rape culture, hatred that we're facing is way too ingrained for our hashtags to change it. We've become so lazy and complacent, afraid of our generation. We think activism is Instagramming memes and complaining it's a problem when there's actually actions you've been taking, but you're triggered and you just try to look fake.
Y'all so stupid. Y'all so stupid. You better run, I swear to God that y'all
Angel,
want
I
them.
think you're getting a violation.
People so stupid, people so dumb, people so cruel, wrong. You better issues, we're gonna run out of tissues. It's so dumb.
What?
I think you're getting a violation.
Oh. Whoop-de-woo. Videos. Is the video playing copyright? No, he doesn't have copyright on his songs.
Man, them eyes are creepy though.
Yeah.
I
There's
don't
just
know if he had copyrights. You know.
No, he doesn't have copyrights. He
Okay.
gives people free reign on this music.
Okay. He's awesome. I love that dude.
Yeah, and he has no contract. You know, and
With
he's
anybody, right?
Nope.
Him and his wife produce their own stuff. Him
See-
and Billy Falcon is another good dude to listen to, and of course Ken Carson. Those three, they're all self-producing their own stuff.
Yeah, Ken Carson's pretty cool.
And Billy Falcon, like the bird, Falcon, like the bird.
Yeah.
He's really good. He's got a 2 or 3 great songs that I listen to a lot that help me
Yeah.
when I feel a little down. It's like, all right, stand up. You can't lay down and just let this stuff happen. Get up, do something.
That's what we're doing.
Hey, at least we're all together. We're here. We're help supporting each other. I mean, there's a lot of people that are doing I'm gonna just off myself, and it's chats like Angels and Lazarus Homestead and Liberty Warrior that we can all group together and gather to support each other. And hey, I'm still here. I made it through another day. And what do you think about this and that? But we're all a family, and we got to stay together.
Yeah.
Hey, Silver Girl, are you the one that said you don't really like to listen to Liberty Warrior? Or somebody said that?
Not me. I don't know who he is. I'm not normally I don't like rap, but.
No, Liberty Warrior is a patriotic channel. I spent probably 2 hours the other day with him just in a prayer chat.
Yeah,
he does a lot of political stuff, but he gets Jeff B up there, and it's a lot of intel and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm over there all the time. I mean, he and Remote prayed 3 times for me the other night.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm talking about the one that Ricky was asking about. I don't know who he is.
Did you watch Liberty Warrior today?
Liberty Warrior today?
I did.
I watched a minute or two. That was it.
Now, I saw some of it. It's kind of, I don't know when it was, but they were talking about somebody that was on the chat. No, there came a caller yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there was somebody that had some issues.
Who was they talking about?
What she was saying, Vicky, was that she had been hired by General Flynn as a non-military interpreter to interpret codes and stuff, and then from there on.
Oh, yes, I remember her.
Okay, that's who they were talking about.
But they don't believe her.
No.
Really,
but
you'd have to.
As Liberty said, I don't believe her. But if you believe her, fine. We can have a disagreement. But you asked me how I felt, and
No.
I mean, no, I'm repeating him.
Oh.
That's what he told them today.
All I know, you're not supposed to tell all that stuff if you know. You're under an NDA.
Never give away the art of war by Tung Sao. Never give the enemy your plans.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's why the last 4 years under 45. I mean, he didn't tell anybody jack.
He did, but he didn't.
He like talked in code, and everyone's like, I can't stand him and his TWETS, and it doesn't make no sense, and he's not smart, he's not spelling stuff right, and they didn't understand that this is all gematria.
Yeah.
Somebody.
He's telling us stuff in something that normal people will just read and think he's an idiot. Only the people who are smart know that, you take that stuff that doesn't look right, and then you look it up and, do the math on it, and, there you go. There's a code. There's people who are extremely intelligent about that stuff.
Yeah, it was an interesting thing to hear, especially with Jeff on. Jeff was not quite as nice as Liberty was.
Apparently, Mr. Potato Head dozed off during his meeting with Israeli Prime Minister. He fell asleep.
Oh, good
Lord! Is that for real? You mean the actor?
Probably. I mean, the man's in dementia right now, or whatever goes along with Alzheimer's, dementia. He's got a thingy in his ear. People telling him what to say. It's scripted. He's got a list of reporters' questions and who he's supposed to call on. The man, I mean, I know it's supposed to be a meme and a joke, and he goes, "Somebody wipe my butt." I think that's really real.
Yeah.
I really do. I don't think he was joking. I don't want a president of the United States that, has that aura or is who he is. Because right now we look like the laughing stock of the world, and I'm surprised we haven't had a Red Dawn yet. I thought Red Dawn was just when I was pissed off.
I remember that movie, and I'm like, oh, that would really suck. Well, now we're almost there now.
I had the sickest feeling in my stomach. I was either about ready to graduate right around that time from high school when that came out. And I went and saw it and I had the sickest feeling in my stomach. Like, I don't know if I can make it through this. Through that, Now this is that. Like, I'm just waiting. I turn on the news and I'm like, all right, good Lord, what happened? We're going to get sucker punched. It's coming. But you remember how we all felt on September 12th?
You mean September? Oh, September the 11th?
Mm-mm. How we felt the day after. We were all together.
I mean, they sold out of
September
American
11th.
flag.
If you want to watch a cool video,
You can
look
find
up-
an American flag anywhere because everybody was buying them up. They were. You couldn't buy one at Walmart. You couldn't find them anywhere. They had American
No.
flags were like hard to get.
we were all
But they-
together. It's going to take something like that to make the people who just will not and refuse to think that Joe Biden isn't the next thing since sliced bread to wake the hell up. It's going to take something big, and we're going to get sucker punched. That's why the prepping community is like, do your water preps. Get what you can when you can. Flashlights, candles, whatever you need for your particular household. Do it.
Yeah.
And I hate the fear monger, but something. There's going to be one last. They're going to push back one last hard time. But hey, you know what? We're not holding the line. We're pushing back on them. Look at what's going around all around the world. I mean, not here, but you could look at Australia, Paris, London. They're coming out in the hundreds of thousands. They're not going under lockdown anymore. They're tired of it. Hell, Australia, the truck drivers, I think it's August 31st. I put dates on stuff. But I think they're planning on just bailing and blocking the highways with the trucks. Like, they're done. They're not doing it no more. Let's shut everything down. They want to shut us down, we'll shut them down.
Wow, I'm looking at that chocolate you were talking about.
Ain't that something?
Yeah.
I love that chocolate.
Yes, and don't ever talk about on live chat what kind of preps you have. Keep it to yourself. Prep for your family. What you'll eat, prep for that. Everybody do your water
Prepping
stuff.
Peppin talks about it all the time. He shares what he got.
There's tons of channels out there that talk about this. So if you haven't started, start now.
Yeah.
With nothing else, just with water preps.
But don't show or tell anybody what you got because.
Nope, because it's none of anybody else's business, just like your health.
Right.
It's none of anybody else's business.
Just like then they say that if there's a death in the family, don't put an obituary in the paper because the most prime time to getting your house broken into is when you're at a funeral.
Or that's when people start messing with the widower.
In Nashville, the police go stay at the house of the deceased while the funerals are going on. They've done that for as long as I can remember. My uncle used to go and do it. And then they get the permission of like the wife if the husband died. And they talk to them, get permission, and they go sit inside the house and no patrol car in sight. and sit there. And sometimes if they aren't going to go actually sit inside the house, they'll put 2 patrol cars in front of it. But if they're in the house, there's no patrol car. And Frank, my uncle, he got several that way. They did it all the time. They'd find out who the deceased left behind, and whoever of the bunch had the best house, that's who they'd break into. And I to ask Frank one time, I said, don't you just want to turn them upside down and paddle their butt? He said, oh yeah, it's real tempting.
I have to share this. 'Cause this is
Hey,
funny.
Tammy. Nice to meet you.
I have to share this. This is funny. The video. There we go. That's uploading. Found it on Telegram.
Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
Oh my God, no. It can't be that simple. What about the 369 other fucking genders?
Yeah. Doesn't fit the agenda.
I don't understand. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, you can be whatever you want to be, it is regarding your sexual lives or whatever. But I don't understand half of the things that they're telling me I am. Like, I don't know what xenophobic is. I'm like, hello, what? Is there like a dictionary with that shit in it? Or I don't understand.
I like that picture.
How can I be something that I don't understand that what you're saying that I am?
Trump. Like jump.
They're saying he's actually George Patton's son.
Freedom is never more than our one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed down to them to do the same. Or one day we will spread our sunset years telling our children and our children's children about what it was once like in the United States where we men were free. Ronald Wilson Reagan.
The great communicator.
Uh-huh. Well, they went after him.
Oh, yeah. Hey, but you remember, like, I was young, but I remember when I was really, really young and Jimmy Carter was president, and then we had all them hostages over there in Iran. And then I remember the presidential debates and, trying to learn and pay attention. And then Ronald Reagan was elected and he placed his hand on the Bible. And I don't know how many days later it was. I swear it was like the next freaking day. Like, they let him loose. Like, America just elected John Wayne. We're screwed. Turn him loose. Give him back. And that's kind of what happened. He had a strong stance against tyranny and tyrants and the evil bad guys that seem to always come from the sandbox. He's like, you touch one hair on their head and it's going to be bad. Which is why I kind of like 45. You kind of said the same thing to over there at the sandbox. You touch anybody beyond this date and it's going to be like really bad. And they believed him. And then 46 comes in and in 7-8 months since Potato's been elected, man, things have gone bad really fast. I mean, you think they're trying to like supercharge their agenda like in a fast forward kind of motion?
Right.
Because maybe we got them cornered into a box and they're running out of time.
Yeah.
Remember, at the end of the book, God wins. At
Me
least
and
the book
Rebecca,
we got.
me and Rebecca went to Publix today, and they're a hiring thing up there. And she said, if you're not application, we'll hire you on the spot right now. I go, they're desperate. But
Yeah.
they don't need a Jabberwocky though. I like Publix. I like going in Publix. They're nice and clean.
Yeah.
They cost more money though, but they're very nice to store. Now Kroger going there sometimes it gets so junky.
Yeah.
Don't
I
like
need
my
to.
sister's name, Tammy.
I gotta get up early and go babysit 4 kids.
Oh, good Lord
Oh,
Almighty.
so you're going over there. You're taking you taking Gitmo with you?
No. Mm-mm. I got this right here. This is to entertain the kids. It's clay. It's called Bake Light, and I got all the tools for the clay tools and stuff. All
How
the
old are they?
7, 8, 9, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Man, they had them right next to each other, didn't they?
Yeah, the youngest is a little girl. The rest of them are boys.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, I've got all the little cookie cutters and stuff for the clay. I've got all the tools, and I got all the colors. And you mold it, and then you put it in the oven, and you bake it, and it hardens. So you make jewelry, you make little figurines.
Well,
So
Auntie
time
Angel will keep.
there?
Huh?
What time do you have to be there?
He lives about 45 minutes away from here, so I gotta be there from 1 till 9.
At night?
Wow. So you might not have a show tomorrow, or are you gonna do it late?
If I do, it'll be late. If not, if I'm like, tired, it'll be the next day.
You'll be worn out. Yeah, you some youngins been around.
Yep, I got 8-hour babysitting job.
Well, you gonna pay you well?
I don't know. Haven't talked about money yet. But I confirmed with him today. I said, you still need a babysitter, and he's like, yes, I do. I'm like, okay. So
Love you, Tammy. I'll see you
Worse,
later.
it could be 6 kids.
What?
I said it could be worse. It could be 6 kids, which would include kids, but they're with their mama. So
Duct tape and chairs. You can play cops and robbers, and you're the cop and they're the robbers, and you let them run around, and then you arrest them and put them in the chair and duct tape them and leave them there.
the only thing, I'm just,
I did that once.
I was like, they
You
asked me
thought
if
it
I
was
wanted
fun.
anything. I said, just enough, some food for the kids so I can make them some soup or some grilled cheese sandwiches or peanut butter sandwiches, whatever they eat, and
Do you have like a board game or something?
I've got my clay and I'm going to bring some art supplies with me. So I'll keep them busy that way. They have a trampoline in the backyard.
There you go.
So,
A lot of playing on the trampoline will put them to bed early.
Tire them out. Tell them to run around the block 10 times.
Well, they live on a farm, so.
Wow.
Oh, that ain't going to work.
And then they got chickens, so a couple of them, they're going to be cooped
So
up.
they got plenty to keep them busy.
Yeah, they got a cat, and like I said, they're adjusting to the new house and the new environment. So they have tablets, but they can only use them at 20 minutes at a time, and it's only at the kitchen table. If they misbehave, there's no tablet talk.
You're going to use
Right.
it 20 minutes. What can you do for 20 minutes?
They do educational games and stuff like that. So that's what she uses as her reward system.
Is this the couple that got broke up?
Well, he's with a new lady.
Okay.
I don't know.
So the kids that you kept at your house are with her, the mother, but belong to this guy too.
Right.
Okay. Well,
But they want to have a date night, and he's the one person that he trusts with his kids and her kids. So
well, have a good sleep. Get all rested up.
Yep.
And loving the bed and feeling like I didn't even want to get out of bed today. It was like,
I slept in.
I want to sleep in tomorrow so bad, but
Cat woke me up.
I got to set my alarm for babysitting and get all the art supplies together and find something to keep, 4 kids preoccupied.
Good night.
Good luck. Good
night.
night.
Love y'all.
Good night,
Get some
ladies. Good
sleep.
night.
Love everybody.
I'm gonna say a prayer.
Yes.
I'm going to say a prayer. All right.
Prayers are always good.
Dear Lord, please watch over everybody in this channel, on this panel, and everybody that are near and dear to our hearts, like Ohio, Mama. Definitely for Tabitha, make sure that she gets some assistance with her situation. Keep President Trump and all the anons and the authors safe and under your protection of your healing light. And when it is time for this storm to happen, may it be quickly. And keep our family and friends who are sleeping this Jabberwocky and stay asleep. Maybe the red pilling won't be so harsh. And it sets us more back to life. In your holy name, amen.
Amen. And to
Good night,
everybody
ladies.
who's in the path of the hurricane, all of
Yes.
our brothers and sisters down there, let's not forget them.
Yes.
Help them be safe. And in Jesus' name, God, to all you be the glory.
Amen.
Amen.
My daughter's in that path right now. So
That kitty was adding her comment. She was purring into the speaker.
that's Lily. Yeah.
Well, good night, everybody. We love you. I love you.
You too. Good night.
Night. Love you all. Sweet dreams.
Night.
Good night. Remember, everybody, where we go one, we go all. United we stand, divided we fall. If we lose this country, we have no one but ourselves to blame. God bless, and I'll see you all later. Angel of Yahweh.